What's up, guys? Welcome to the Chaos Theory podcast. I am your co-host, Ivan, aka Kinetic, and of course, I got my main man, Kenneth Chaos Villalobos, alongside me. We have a great episode, guys. It's great to be back. Go ahead and take it away, Ken.
What's up, guys? Yo, it's been 3 months approximately since the last podcast episode. We kind of took a break, took care of some real life things, and we're back in the mix, guys. We have a lot to talk about. I always say that it's going to be a banger of an episode. Okay, I don't give a damn. Every episode is a fucking banger. And this episode is no different. Okay, we brought on a legend of the scene, a man who has contributed a lot, tons of things to the Marvel 2 community, continues to contribute, deserves all the respect in the world, and he is here to tell his story, give his opinion on a few controversial topics, and give us an insight as to how he goes about his daily Marvel life. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce a man who actually doesn't need an introduction.
That's right, man.
He is the king of Texas, the king of content creation for Marvel 2. And I challenge you to find a better setup than what this man has to offer. And that's none other than General Thrillah. What's happening, brother?
Hello, everyone. Hey, you know what? First time being here, listened for a long time, love the shows, love the episodes leading up to this point. Great to be here. And what other than a way to celebrate than it being the 10th episode? And I got you a little gift, Ken.
Oh, wow.
Is that right? Whoa.
Yeah. So happy anniversary.
Wow. Yo, my man got me some Suntory World Whiskey. Wow. And it's the blue.
Oh, that's the good stuff.
Dare I say it's the blue label?
Yeah.
Wow,
Blue
fantastic,
label
brother.
Suntory.
I think we're going to have to crack this open right now, actually.
And, if you don't want to, you get saucy up in
Dude,
Mix a
thank you
little
so
bit,
much. And Thriller brings up an interesting point. It is the 10th episode. I can't believe that we're at...
Congratulations.
Dude, we're on episode 10. We've been doing this for a little bit over a year now. We've told a lot of stories, gone over a lot of topics.
That's right.
And given the Marvel 2 community, or, the fighting game community in general, we've given them stories that were untold, a lot of details that were overlooked, and it's a lot of lore that without this, I would say
You would have gotten lost.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm very proud and I'm very grateful to have made it this far. Ivan, thank you for being a part of this, being my man, my co-pilot here.
It's an honor to be here with you guys.
And we're going to keep the ball rolling, guys. Before we get into Thrillah's story, I did want to talk about recent events. I know that it's been a few months. Reloaded 2.0 just happened back in August. I took second place, losing to Duck Vader. It was a very difficult tournament for me. Mm-hmm. I lost to Jin from Peru early on, and I had to beast my way through
the losers bracket.
The losers bracket.
To get all the way back to Duck.
It was exhausting, and I actually had to ditch... I think I had to ditch Spider-Man for a little bit.
You did.
I had to give him a break because this was not going to be easy at all. I picked Team Matrix, and I was able to work my way up to Duck, reset the bracket into grand finals, and then I just ran out of steam, dude.
Yeah. Yep.
Shout outs to Duck. He actually won the tournament. It was on his birthday.
It was his birthday as well, yeah.
And Thrillah, since I have you on here, dude, thank you so much for running the behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Thrillah, guys, just so you know, he took a lot of setups. He took all of his equipment. He was helping run the bracket, making sure that everything was running smoothly. I know that Mike Watson was the one who was in charge of the whole event, but, he had a variety of things to take care of.
He had a ton on his back, dude. So, he pretty much gave me full reign to, help with the whole 37 Reloaded event and then just run the Marvel side. But then, there was a point where it was like, we talked about it beforehand, where he was like, hey, we might switch, when it gets to top 4, we might, send you guys over to the main, I guess, stream where the IE Battlegrounds was. But then throughout the night, he just saw that we were having such a great time. He was like, you know what, just keep it on the channel, man. You guys are freaking rocking it. So shout outs to Mike Watson, man.
Bro, we held it down.
Dude, it was amazing.
Great experience, a lot of hype, a lot of camaraderie, and a lot of cool moments, dude. I think that this tournament overshadowed Evo by a long shot. Yeah. Evo was kind of like, we'll get to Evo, right? Yeah. But this tournament had everything that you wanted. Plenty of setups, plenty of time to play your matches, and a lot of people that traveled from out of state who were in attendance. VDO was there. Yeah. It was a great tournament. Okay, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing else that you can take away from that. Great experience. I got second place, but whatever. I'm not salty at all, dude. I don't care.
Hey, your big bro won. So
Yeah. Shout outs to Duck.
happy birthday, Duck. He did it for you.
Happy birthday, brother. All right, moving on. From Reloaded, then we had Evo. I believe it was the following week, right?
Pretty much. It was back to back.
Yeah, it was a back to back.
It was back to back. It was very tough. I mean, I wasn't in attendance. Thrill, I know you didn't go.
Nope.
This tournament it felt like it was a little lackluster. I mean, I wasn't there, so I can't really.
Right.
But it just seemed like nobody really money matched. There weren't any exhibitions.
There was no
just
salty sweep, and
I mean, unless you count Eddie.
Well, that's what I was saying. I was going to give Eddie a shout out
Yeah.
because he took it upon himself, even at 37. So big shout outs to Eddie Dangerous from NorCal, who always brings his legit setups, like his PVM monitor, his DC setups, and dude, he was helping us at 37 run the losers brackets to help speed it along. Shout outs also to RM and Koo Mighty. Those guys are always at the events and helping run the brackets as well. So
absolutely. Man. And you know what? In addition to that, Eddie actually runs his own
the
sessions,
room.
the Danger Room, up in NorCal. If you guys ever find yourselves
that's right.
Yeah, if you find yourselves up north, Eddie is pretty accommodating, as long as you're not a fucking shitbag or something.
Oh, we can curse on here.
Oh yeah. Wow. You can viewer discretion is advised. You can hit him up and see what's going on. He's very good about posting when his sessions are taking place. It's usually a monthly thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But hit him up and see what's cracking up there in NorCal.
Yeah, I had the opportunity because my brother lives out in Oakland, and Eddie had invited me out. And, I was just expecting casuals. And what I love about Eddie is that, we get lit. When I arrived, everybody was just like having a great time. He actually inspired me. He was the person who had a great setup in his garage. Like he had CVS2 running, Street Fighter ST in another corner. And then he had the Marvel session, spot and pristine garage setup. And I was like, damn, I just moved into the new place. I have to provide something that is just of caliber. And what I love too, what I took from that session too, is we haven't done it yet because you guys have been to the session, but the pizza box tournaments. Well, what that is pretty much, he orders pizza, but then spontaneously or sporadically, he would just be like, all right, we're doing a pizza box tournament. And he just, who's in? Oh, you're in. Just random dudes that showed up. And fortunately, I did show up and I showed out, and I beat, I think, Crizzle in the finals of the pizza box tournament.
Fantastic, dude. That's a notch to add under your belt, sir. Before we go any further, guys, before we deviate away from Evo, there was a lot of controversy, okay? The only thing that I think people took away from Evo was the grand finals controversy between Crizzle and Peru.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not really, there were a lot of memes that were created, a lot of joshing around with this stuff.
Yes, it was.
Thrilla, tell us about what happened, dude. What happened at Evo with these guys?
I heard firsthand from the people that were there, specifically from from Bad Boy, who was literally right behind him. So I guess, the first thing that happened, I think you guys saw the matches. I think it was winners semis that him and Crizzle and Jin played. And then I think it was the first game where it was, 3 characters to 1, Jin being up, and Crizzle had Psylocke left. Then what happened, I guess, was a DC malfunction or equipment malfunction.
Yeah.
And then the game reset. And during that debacle, it was definitely up to the, what do you call it, the TO to be like, hey, we need to do it this way. There's already been debates about can they recreate the match? And so that's what people were calling for. Jin, not being as good with English as he is, was he wanted to take that W pretty much, or replay the match to that point where it was he had Sentinel and Cap versus, Psylocke.
Lone Psylocke, yeah.
If Jin had taken that match, it would have been 1-0, right?
Right.
And he won straight 2 more matches after that. But, that being said, we can always play Theory Fighter, and I think somebody like Crizzle could have still held his own and maybe has taken the W still,
But what a pain in the ass it would have been to recreate that scenario from
That's exactly what I was
from
thinking.
both the character health and the time on the clock.
Yeah, dude, it's a lot of variables, but to be honest, it's like, it's Sentcap versus Psylocke. I just give the guy the W. Or,
And what is your guys' opinion like on just recreating the match that way? Because personally, I feel like it's never the same. Obviously, you can never make it the same, but there's a lot of decision making that's already going into that moment. So when it gets reset, there's a lot of flow that just gets pushed aside. You have to
there's like momentum.
Everything.
There's definitely momentum, that you build up. But definitely, Crizzle has a good Psylocke, but not good enough to beat two characters sent cap. My personal opinion, I've seen it in past tournaments and arcade settings actually, where playing at Regency or Golfland, where they're playing Street Fighter or Third Strike, and they would recreate the match if something had happened. Like during a pause or whatever, and it's like, okay, let's just go to this health and then fight from there. It's definitely possible.
It is possible. I feel like it doesn't really happen that often, though.
It doesn't. It's just like, it's up to the player's discretion. It's like gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, the only time that I've seen it happen was back in 2009, and it's the only time that I've ever seen like a match review.
Yeah.
It was Finesse versus Reset at FFA back in 2009.
Wow.
And Reset beat Finesse in a match. And then when it went back to character select, it showed that Reset's handicap was up.
Ooh.
But he might have tapped the stick or whatever, and so Finesse pointed out, like, hey man, your handicap was up. And Reset's like, oh no. Strider Zero had his cam set up and everything. Rewind the footage. He said, rewind it.
But we don't have that footage, huh?
We don't have it, no.
Damn, Strider Zero.
But Strider Zero had to rewind it, and I don't think his handicap was up. I don't know what happened. But that was the only case where Reset was livid.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, bro. Oh no, you need to run that footage back, man. And I haven't seen anybody do it yet. Usually it's like, all right, blue screen, take the W.
Yeah.
Right.
Majority of the time it's been, all right, well, controller disconnected, whatever, let's just restart the match or something like that. Gentleman's agreement, like you said.
Or I've seen where I've seen it where in tournament, if a pause happens during like Magneto doing a ROM or Iron Man Infinite, and if you're in it and the game pauses, if the opponent pauses, then you just have them put you back in ROM, and then you just let them kill your if they drop it the next time after the pause, then that's like after the agreement.
Bro, if you're in the Iron Man Infinite and you have 1/8 of life left,
right,
your character's dead.
Yeah, exactly. So they play it from that point. I've seen that happen at Regency, where it's like, hey, well, not Regency, but like at a Super Arcade or any other like DC session, where it's like, oh, let's just take it from here during a money match.
Right.
But yeah, after that.
So that was the first part.
That was the first part.
Okay,
yeah.
and then the second part, which is what everybody remembers.
Oh yeah, the quick draw McGraw pause gate.
I take full credit for that, dude.
Yeah, you did.
Pause gate,
dude,
baby.
Pause gate, yeah, dude. I mean, that's what it was. Pause and they were like, "What do we do?" And then everybody was screaming to like the TOs, like two guys walking up and talking to either Onikage or the official Evo TOs, and we're like, "Hey, let's just restart the match or something like that." And like Jim was like, "Nah, man, nah. What the hell? Like, dude, really?" And then he couldn't talk for himself, Yeah,
there's a language barrier. For our listeners, a really quick recap. For tournaments, if an opponent's joystick causes a malfunction, for example, it shorts out one of the ports, something like that, we use the term blue screen, which is a pop-up box that says, hey, controller has been disconnected. You have to see which chord is the one that's causing that disconnect. So if I'm playing against Thrillah and I'm player 1 and he's player 2, and if we find out that it's my stick that actually caused the disconnect, then that round point automatically goes to Thrillah. And vice versa. It's always been that way. Right. The other thing is pause, right?
Yep.
If somebody hits pause accidentally, same thing. The point goes to the other person. And the only reason why I'm explaining that is for context, because Thrillah's going to fill us in on what happened afterwards.
So pretty much, Crizzle is like protesting like, and he gets up and he's like, hey, did I win? And I think a lot of people saw that, and he's like, did I win? And he's like talking to the TO, and the TO's like, yeah, I mean, if it was a pause and they reviewed it, I guess, and Crizzle's like, hell yeah, and he just pops off, and
so
and that was that.
Jin had done a storm lightning attack super, and he
Paused it really
was
quick,
trying to
Mash.
what we call mashing, which is hitting all the buttons in quick succession for additional damage, right?
Yes, yeah.
And he accidentally hit the pause button, which was actually a few inches above
the stick that he's playing on,
the stick that he's playing on. So it was very easy for him to, with a slight, miscalculation of hand movement, he hits the pause button, even though he had the life lead, right?
Yeah.
He had the life lead against Crizzle, and then Crizzle takes the W.
Dude, and I mean, that leads into another thing, which was from what everybody knows or that have reviewed it, Jin wasn't playing on his own stick, and that brings it to the point of like, you need to bring your own stick. That's in the rules of Evo, and if it's not his own stick, I mean, that's your fault, right? So
yeah, the controversy. This is where the community became a little divided, right? Because from a competitor standpoint, if you're the kind of guy that wants to, hey man, let's fight it out until the end, you're not going to like the way that Crizzle took that win.
Oh no.
Right.
You're not going to like it. And there were a lot of people that voiced their concerns and saying, hey man, this is your champion. This is the guy. This is the guy that you want to be behind. They didn't like the way that Crizzle took the win. The second half of the community that support Crizzle are like, hey man, those are the rules.
Yeah.
Nobody told you to press start. Nobody told you to borrow somebody else's stick that you're not comfortable, with the layout.
Right.
So there are two perspectives here, and it just depends on what side you're on.
I mean, most of the players now, we're all old gentlemen, and I think we like the respect factor, but if it was Evo there, and it was, I mean, some of the people that play now would have took the W.
Yeah, and it's subjective, right?
It's subjective.
There's a tournament entry.
Yep.
There's money involved.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at it from the point of view of, hey man, you're taking away food off of my table if I lose this match, right?
That's right.
I mean, not to say Crizzle was hurting for money, but the rules are there. Yeah. So with that being said, what happened afterwards was there was a floodgate of people that were saying, hey, if you want to go by the rules of if you press start, I'm going to take the win, then how come in winners finals we didn't reset the match to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't play the rules all the way throughout.
Yeah, it's like you can't pick and choose when to apply the rules.
Mm-hmm.
So from what I understand, Crizzle said, well, I asked Jin if he was okay with starting the match over, right? Because that's what they did, right?
Yeah.
They start the match over during the winter semis.
Yep.
And that Jin said okay. Now Jin says that he didn't agree to it.
Right.
It's a lot of hearsay. It's a lot of
we would have to get Jin back on here.
We're gonna have to bring him on here, dude.
Here's side of the story in Espanol.
But it's the language barrier, like you said. Maybe he misconstrued what they were saying, and everything happens like this because you're on stage, so to speak, and you have people that are watching, and it's kind of like, well, we got to keep the ball rolling. We have more matches to get to and whatnot. So it was a quick decision. You're not going to please everybody. In this case, the only thing that is definite is that Crizzle is our 2023 Evolution champion.
Yep.
And that's it, dude. You got to deal with it.
Yeah.
That was the controversy that happened at Evo this year.
Yeah, love him or hate him. I'll just add this little tidbit. It's just, I think the fact that, I love my boy Crizzle, but the way that he was saying like, I'm a body your shit, to Jin, but take the W that way. It's like,
right.
If he was about his shit, then he would have played it out.
Because he's obviously a very skilled player. So
he's incredible, dude.
Yeah. So then
incredible.
There's no issue in him taking out Jin. I kind of wanted them to run back like a money match between
that would have been
fucking
maybe
sick.
We'll see it soon. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right. So going past Evo, guys, that kind of concludes our recap of current events. We're gonna move right into the story of Thrillah. Now, this is he's been in the scene for quite a while now. Just like everybody else, he had his humble beginnings, and we're gonna get to witness the evolution of him being a Regency arcade player, all the way up to one of the greatest content creators that we have in the modern Marvel 2 era. Walk us through it, man. I mean, how did you get started? Where did you start playing? How did you learn? Give us the Thrillzone.
All right. You guys are stepping into the thrill zone now. No, man. You know, I come from a family of competitive gamers. I have, 5 brothers. Growing up, they all played Street Fighter. They're OGs of their time, guys who've played with Duck, side by side before I was even, in middle school. And I have to give shout outs to my brothers and, for introducing me to fighting games because, everybody's played Street Fighter, Super Nintendo, but that led up all the way to, actually traveling out to like other arcades. We had, fortunately in Long Beach where I live, born and raised, was that we had a bunch of mom and pop shops in little Cambodia town. One was Mary Video.
Oh.
Yeah, Mary's Video was like a family-owned video shop, but they had like Tekken in there. They had Street Fighter, and there's other video shops around during my childhood, and that gave me that competitive drive when like being dropped off at the laundromat, and putting up your quarters and playing Pac-Man or Tetris or Street Fighter or King of Fighters. And from there, I call him our cousin, but because he's been in our family forever, I have to give a shout out to him. Caveman Chan was the guy who was like the oldest of the bunch that would like drive us, further than our like mom and pop shops to go out to like the most famous place like Southern Hills Golfland, and that was where I first witnessed like high level play. And who do I see? None other than, Harry Potter. A prodigy at the time was just killing it. And, Julius Jackson, who was it? Shady K or something like that.
Dude, these are names that I haven't heard in such a long time.
Yeah. Shady K. There's just so many. Sue Mighty. But he was the one introducing me. But Caveman Chan was good at like King of Fighters and Marvel vs. Capcom 1. And it was only until like when I first went to Regency, which was back in like 2003 or 4, that I used to play Third Strike a lot. I was actually that was my main game that I played, and I never touched Marvel 2 like that.
Dude, that's right. I do remember you playing Third Strike.
Yeah, I was. You remember at Regency, it was like the old school setup was like Third Strike was on the left. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was on the right. But, that was my first time actually seeing when we used to play Marvel vs. Capcom 1, that we saw the new cabinets for Marvel vs. Capcom 2 coming. And I just remember like witnessing Cable beaming the shit out of everybody. I was like, what the hell? The graphics are crazy.
The globe.
Yeah. And then that led me to, playing at the arcades as a young kid. And then my cousin Carrie, rest in peace, picked up a DC and Marvel 2 was on it, and he and Caveman Chan and my brothers, always gave me the lore about, hey, who's the best player at this arcade and whatnot. And so he was like, watch Julius Jackson, because he does this shit where it's like he carries the like does like a 45 hit combo, and like I'm watching him as a kid, I was like, what the hell is that? And he's like, it's called an infinite. Like you can't get out of it. There's nothing you can do. And so I was like, from then on, I was like, I need to practice this. And so I would go to Carrie's house, and dude, I shit you not, I've only ever played characters that can do infinites, which was Iron Man, War Machine, Cable, and Doom. And because Doom has the corner infinite where it's the dive kick infinite, right?
Right.
I used to practice that, so I got my first taste of just like being in training mode, just sitting there, dude. And I was just a middle school guy, just like practicing on pad. There was no arcade sticks for me. I would have to go to the arcade and practice that. And then I finally, just moving forward, I played Third Strike heavily, and I didn't ever really try to test my might against like the Marvel side, because dude, I like Regency at the time where there was a bunch of dudes there. It was like 60 people at a time, like back in its heyday, where like it would be like 30 people, 40 people at like the Third Strike side, and be like 40 other people at at the Marvel 2 side, and it would get rowdy as shit because there would be like, the $5 money matches, the $10 money matches, and I mean, it was a spectacular time to learn and get my ass beat and take a lot of L's and learn a lot of new things and new matchup strategies.
Dude, it's funny that you say that about the whole Julius Jackson thing, that the amazing part about him was that he was doing 45 hit combos.
Yeah.
Because up until Marvel 2 or even Marvel 1, right? We're used to, like, if you were playing Third Strike or Alpha or whatever, you're used to just high, low, medium,
Parry.
Shoryuken or something like that. Hits would, the combos would cap out at like 6-7 hits or whatever, unless you did a super.
Yeah.
So to see Marvel 2 for the very first time, and you're seeing like an Iron Man Infinite into Proton Cannon, or Magneto Hypergrav Tempest, it's just, dude, I remember that. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, I'm getting chills now just thinking about back in the days, like how, when I would sit at Third Strike but look over and being like, damn, I wish I could do stuff like that. Like the way Magneto was just flying around. It's just like, I'm like, damn, man, like I really want to be a part of that. But it was just, you had to earn your stripes. Like I think that's what, we can get into that at another point where like, you got to earn your stripes at the arcade. It built your character. And, it gave you grit.
Well, when you say you wanted to be a part of that, is it okay to assume that you meant being a top player as well as being a part of the community?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've always been like a lone wolf type of, not even a wolf, like a lone sheep. Like I would just stray around, just hang out and see who was kind of cool and maybe want to talk to, and play with people that can, share the same kind of like comedic scope or level as you, and I found some of those people, but a lot of those people retired, and just looking for the camaraderie, because at Regency, that's my home. Like we had such a great kind of like culture and tradition of just like show up at 5 after class from college and then grab a Pino's pizza. You know what I mean? And
dude, I used to love that place,
dude,
bro.
The guy, freaking John.
You want some buffalo? You want some buffalo wings?
Yeah. Hey, boss. You want another slice today? Yeah.
Everything was boss.
Yeah, everything was boss there, and yeah, man.
Did you find it though? This is what, 2000.
I can say that I've finally found it recently. After everything has settled.
Good Lord.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where like you try to put yourself out there, and you're in a vulnerable state. You don't know who really knows you or wants to really kick it with you. There's a lot of wishy-washy folks that say they're down with you, and then next thing you know, they're backstabbing you. You know what I mean? And it's so just true. Like, I'm always like a forgiving and caring person where like I can look always past that, because there's bigger shit in life than just a game or like a click, you know what I mean? So I think that rubs like folks the wrong way sometimes, just because it's like, dude, you're not loyal to anybody, and I get it, it's like I try to be, cool with a lot of folks. I can look past, I see things from both, aspects, and I think not having a real stance on things just like kind of like puts people like, I don't mess with you because you're like this. So, but it's whatever.
Nowadays we're less tolerant of that BS behavior.
Yeah,
I think that's how it goes.
Yeah.
When you started going to Regency, like you said, the unwritten rule was after 5.
Yeah,
that's the place to be.
Yeah.
Who were you seeing around that time?
Dude, I was watching. I could say we have a Mount Rushmore at Regency, right? I've seen you can come by, but then you would always come by every so often with, I think, what was his name, Infred or something like that?
Yeah.
But the core people were like who were killing it was Wes, Regency Rob, Regency Ricky.
So if we were to say Mount Rushmore of Regency, who would you put there? Wes, Rob, Dorian, and
oh man, that's a good one. It's a toss up because, dude, I really liked what's his name?
I would put Jtron in there.
Yes, Jtron. Yeah, because he fought his way up to like hanging with those folks.
Yeah.
Who was big black homie? What's his name?
Black Juan.
Black Juan. I can't forget Black Juan. Hey man, what the fuck? Black Juan had a great.
How
dude,
could you miss that guy?
That guy would just sit there, and you wouldn't even see his arms move. It'd just be his hands, just
Yeah.
twiddly dee. But no, he had a really good team scrub.
Yeah.
I mean, he was one of the most patient players that I've ever played against, and he taught me the cable matchup when I played with Iron Man. And he'd be like, "I'm just shooting you. You know, you just got to do something else." But I learned a lot through my brothers over there. I mean, I didn't know Wes like that. I didn't know Regency Rob like that. They were all in their own kind of like grown up clique, you know, not a clique, just their own people you mess with, you know what I mean? And I was just a young kid at the time, and I was just kind of like trying to find my footing. But dude, I tell you this now, I wasn't like, you know, as kind as I say I was. I was really a really salty, competitive player, you know. I really wanted to be good. 'Cause, you know, I was and
I think all of us have that.
Yeah. I mean, I do recall that moment, Ken, where like you would come by and fuck everybody up. And then like I remember playing you and I beat you one time and you're like, such a fucking scrub, dude. And I was like, but I looked up to you so much. It was kind of like one of those things where I was like, man, this guy's so good. I want to be friends with him. But then he told me I was a scrub. I was like, and I told Ken, and I think Ken realized it too. Like we kept meeting each other like this, where it's like I would beat him maybe randomly, and he'd like fucking scrub. You know, he would lose to Iron Man Infinite.
Right.
And then I would be like, look, man, I totally respect you, man. I look up to you, dude. Like I give you full respect. And then Ken, I think, changed his kind of like mind about me.
That is not what happened, dude.
That is totally what happened.
Not what happened.
That's what happened in my head. Tell me what happened then.
So I remember I did make that comment. I said, "This guy's such a fucking scrub, dude." For our listeners at home, if we haven't covered this, I apologize. Tell them what a scrub is, bro. For our non-Marvel 2 community members.
For me,
what is a scrub?
Scrub is just someone that just wins with like no real skill.
Gimmicks.
Yeah, just gimmicks, like gimmicks upon gimmicks. And you're playing as a skilled player, but you're losing to this guy who's doing random just stuff to win, like tagging or just, you know, major assist calling and maybe hopefully getting the Iron Man dream, which is to tag and, you know, kick on you, you know, and do the infinite. It's just...
I mean, Marvel 2, it's a game that at high level, it's almost like a dance. There's I always say, throw out the word choreography.
Oh, yeah.
There's a flow, and you're thinking 3 steps ahead. And when you play against somebody who doesn't really have a plan and they're just kind of throwing things out, just for the, you know, they're doing a move, a fireball or something like that, and you're losing to that, it's like,
or even Hail Mary sometimes, like you say.
Yeah, it's extremely frustrating. I think that's what happened. I lost to Thrillah, and I said, man, I looked at Carlos. I'm like, this guy's a fucking scrub, dude.
He didn't keep it in though.
God damn it,
I
dude.
can hear you.
I don't care.
You made sure that you could hear him.
I don't care, dude. I ran over to Initial D because I didn't want to.
Yeah, this is.
And then when it was my turn to go up there again, you had lost.
Yeah, I did.
And Thrillah gave it back to me like 300%, dude. He's like, oh man, look at this scrub. What is this scrub? Like every 3 words was scrub.
Oh,
man,
yeah. I was, dude, because that was at the point where I was like, man, I can't stand you. You keep calling me a scrub. I gotta give it back to you.
And then I lose again, and then Thrillah and I are just standing next to each other all quietly, like,
oh my god.
oh, this sucks. But that's how it was, dude. It's when you work so hard at a game like that and you lose, it's a blow. It's a blow to your ego. It's a blow to your self-esteem, man.
You got to keep your composure when
it's
those
tough,
happen.
dude.
It's very tough though. Yeah.
Especially at Regency back during those days, dude. The line was 7 quarters long at times. It was a full house, and if you weren't on your A game, dude, it was a long wait.
Very long.
Yeah, super competitive. And I mean, I would try my best to go every Wednesday, but I was going around to every arcade. So I do Regency on Wednesdays, James games on Fridays, and I think FFA on Saturdays or something like that.
Those are the good old days, dude.
Dude, like, when you had variety.
Yeah, it only was until like maybe until 2000 and so I've been playing at Regency since like 2003 to like, you know, 2013, 14 before they like really all the guys were just like, all right, we're retiring.
Really, dude? I feel like
no, I was there until the very
2013, that long?
The very bitter end. Like I was there for the very bitter end of it. And
I felt like people stopped going like in 2011.
And that's true. A lot of people stopped, and the only people that used to go like after that was me, Hamthrax, Jose, maybe Jtron every now and then, and Black Juan. Ricky would show up now and then. But yeah, man, we would just play it because it's like, dude, we really don't have anything else. You know what I mean? We have DC sessions, but those DC sessions were very sparse and far. People lived in like San Bernardino and shit, and we have to drive over there. It's like, I'm not gonna drive over there for some crack. You know?
You know what? Now that you mention that, the house sessions back then were super exclusive.
Exactly.
Because you'd only have one TV.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we talked about it during the Joe Zaza episode. Unless you knew how to host accordingly.
Yeah.
Dude, you had a group of like 6-7 guys, one TV, and it was a long wait. I mean, but if you were invited to one of those sessions, then you knew like, okay.
Only ever invited to one during that time, and that was at I think Ivan's house at the time. And I think who was that dude?
Which Ivan? Scumbag.
Scumbag.
Ivan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Scumbag.
Well, that doesn't count.
Shout out to my brother Regency, Ivan.
Yeah, shout outs to Ivan, dude.
But I think I forgot his name, but I think his name was like Carl or something like that. He was a guy from like Midwest coming out. And I wanted to money match him, and that was the only thing. Like, I think you were only invited if like you're gonna money match somebody, really, too. I mean, unless people could bet on you and like they can win money off of you, you weren't invited. You know, so
just using your body.
Use it. Oh dear God.
Do you recall your first money match?
I mean, my first money matches were on Third Strike. I used to play, first to fives. With like Ray, like Big Ray, the guy who like owned everybody over at that time. Then when I went to Marvel too, the money matches that I had, my first ones were with like rest in peace Jake. You know.
Oh yeah.
Jake,
rest in peace.
He was like another prodigy who like played MSP, MSS, and he was so good. He had potential. But yeah, I played him. Ricky. Jtron. I played all the guys at Regency for money. Like $5 though, like it's just kind of like to wet
the palate.
Yeah, wet the palate.
Yeah, that was the name of the game back then. It was first to 3 for 5. And then,
first to 3s for 5s.
And then as soon as you lost it, get out of here, kick rocks, bro.
Yeah, and dude, it was awesome learning those skills.
So, did you run any sets with? Did you have any long sets that you felt were pivotal in your rise to the top during the Regency days?
I never actually had that chance because I just was really studying everybody. There was a lot of players that just were like at the peak that I say if Regency were to travel out, like during their peak, they mess up a lot of folks. And I still do believe that. But no, I watched Wes a lot. And my main inspiration, who I feel is a pioneer of Iron Man, which is Dorian. I watched all of his setups, and I'd be like, damn, I can never do Infinite like that. Because what I would do, I could never do the launch with Iron Man and then up fierce, dash down forward, jab fierce, like the way he did. He did it so clean. I never learned that.
I can't do it either.
What I used to do was, I think you would recall the setup that I used to do. It was just such a gimmicky ass setup, which was at the start of the match, if they didn't switch glitch, I would switch glitch, and I would launch with Iron Man, and then just jump up, sock you down into War Machine right away, and just go into Infinite. Then I would reset, do the same thing.
Oh, and death.
And it's death.
Yeah.
And that was my only way I knew how to do Infinite, and with up high kick. That was it.
Up high kick?
I was a fucking scrub, dude. I was a scrub, and everybody knew it. Everybody hated it. Everybody at Regency despised me because I was just like that freaking guy that only used that gimmick, and I was just like, I'm sorry, this is the only way I know how to play.
You're like Cillian Murphy just crying.
I'm like Gohan getting my ass kicked, like.
Now, Thrillah, for being a Third Strike player, firstly, what were some of the things that you noticed that were different from Marvel 2 to Third Strike, and did any of your skills from Third Strike transfer over to Marvel 2?
Oh yeah, heavily, man. I played Chun-Li. That was my main. My second was Dudley.
Chun's fucking top tier.
And what I picked up was hit confirms.
Okay.
Because you have to hit confirm in Third Strike.
Yes.
Especially with Chun with the low medium.
Yes.
Medium kick into her.
Low forward into
yeah,
the super.
Exactly. That translated heavily into my Iron Man gameplay because I would do like, I would challenge a lot of Magnetos or any character of my opponents when I'm falling. Like, let's say they launch me and I'm falling. I would challenge them with a jab, but like a really precise jab time. I'm not mashing it either. I'm just like, oh, I'm falling. Okay. And if you press a button or if you're crouching, I would get the overhead jab. Then I can convert it into a launch death into an infinite setup.
Right.
So that really
it's almost like looking for like a counter hit on the way down.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's something to translate it.
In retrospect, looking at the gameplay back then,
Mm-hmm.
like I remember playing you, and I just like you obviously weren't at the level that you are now, right?
No.
None of us were.
No.
But you were still kind of finding your footing on how to, like you knew what to do once you
Mm-hmm.
had the infinite.
Yeah.
You just needed to figure out how to get there.
Yeah.
And back then there were only a handful of Iron Man players I felt that posed a real threat. Like I always had problems with Elon.
Yeah.
I always struggled against Clockwise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys remember Clockwise.
Mm-hmm.
That was Iron Man Strider Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's just no real Iron Man players that pose a threat other than outside of those two.
Yeah.
And once you got the ball rolling, I mean, look at you now, dude. You're fucking steamrolling over everybody. It's just getting from point A to point B where you knew how to play the
winning the neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah, winning the neutral and converting and just finishing your food. We always hear that, right? Finishing your food. You need to finish your plate. I mean, I remember back in the Regency days where Alex Valle used to come and play Third Strike, and he would coach his pupils at the time, and he'd be like, "You need to finish your plate," or he'd be like, "You took too long finishing that match. You should have killed quickly." And I'd be like, "Damn, who is this guy?" And that stuck with me, like hearing Alex Valle being like, "You took too long. You need to figure your shit out," and that practicing and repetition in the training mode, with Iron Man War Machine setups, I just slowly started building like the plan of like, okay, in this situation, I started, planning it out. Like, okay, in this situation, if this happens, do this.
Right.
So flow charting pretty much.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
And because you mentioned earlier that you were playing Doctor Doom, so is there a reason why? I understand, like, you have your team now, but is there a reason why you didn't actually pick up Team Elan? Because you seem to have the other pieces there.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why I didn't pick Team Elan was just like, Doom just didn't provide that much utility for me, for that synergy. And I always saw Cable as that end factor, like I can always build meter for Cable to come in and just wreck house,
Right.
And I always played Cable very simple, very just kind of like methodical, nothing crazy, like overhead bullets. A lot of people always fell for that, and they still do today. Like overhead bullet really catches folks, like the magic bullet.
Right.
And you just play it simple. It's like literally you're picking apart. You're like, okay, are you gonna shoot me? Am I gonna shoot you? Are you gonna block? It's like. It's very simple gameplay mechanic, like strategies that, it's like, okay, I'm not going to do shit until you do something, you know? So, yeah.
Do you think that the setups that you have now, like the way you optimize them with War Machine and Iron Man, you think that they have contributed more to what you would have probably done with like Iron Man Doom? Because like that show in and of itself is like very popular, right? And there's a reason why there's like so many great setups off of that.
There's a reason why I picked War Machine over Doom is because War Machine, I have an actual like, if I'm on my shit, it's 100% set up into infinite from A to G without having to do air to ground. Air to ground is being having Unfly activated with Iron Man and being able to take your character or the opponent's character from the top of the screen and bringing them back down into an Iron Man Infinite. And I didn't need to do that with, with Iron Man War Machine.
Yeah.
With Doom, you would have to have Unfly.
That's correct. Yeah.
To sock him down into a rock and then hopefully dash down, convert again, Unfly, and then finally land into the Infinite. With Iron Man War Machine, I can take it to the tippy top of the screen, hit him down in the War Machine, and it would actually connect, like from the very top. So that's like the scary point, where like people are like, damn, he actually hit me with that. And, it leads into that point too. Like it messes with your opponent's head. Like, holy shit, this guy's hitting me with this, you know?
Right.
And
Dude,
it messes up their choreography. Like,
Not to, dude, I love that word, choreography.
yeah.
Dude, not to mention that the War Machine anti-air assist comes out faster than Iron Man.
Yeah,
does.
for the viewers that don't know.
So when you're playing neutral, right, where you and your opponent are kind of spaced out, feeling each other out, whatever, all you got to do is throw that assist out to a Magneto that's rushing recklessly.
Yes.
They fall into it, and guess what? It's Infinite City.
Yeah.
And you're at a point now where you can, as fast as it happens, you're quick enough to recognize
Yeah.
And
the
react.
assist
It's like
hit.
it's like fly trap. It's literally a fly trap where repulsive blast keeps you in there for a crazy Marvel second. Whereas Doom, you only get the only factor you get from Doom rocks is that you get them picked up off the ground. It lifts the character up, but there's no holding point. They can block, so the variables always is random. So I minimize that with War Machine, where it's like it's always the same.
It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's consistent.
Guaranteed, yeah.
2 characters that can land the infinite, 2 characters that can 300% you at any given time.
Yeah.
It's pretty scary, dude, at the highest level.
Yeah.
And so far, Thrillah is the only person who's been able to exploit that. Before we get to the resurgence of Iron Man and the fifth the concept of the fifth element.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, we'll get to that. Something happened. Okay, back in 2013, it's like you disappeared.
Yeah.
You dropped off the face of the earth. What happened? And when did you decide to come back?
So, for the viewers at home, I do a lot of things on my own time. I take in a lot of hobbies. I during that time was traveling a lot for my dance career / DJ / music career, and I was spinning at opening up, doing stuff for like Busta Rhymes,
Damn, that's
MC
crazy.
Jin. Shout out to MC Jin. I was just getting involved heavily with the dance community and the hip hop community, and I was just on a track to I was traveling to Canada a lot as well. So I reached a point where back from 2009 when PSN released, I was on it, right? I was playing actually Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection. I love DR. Tekken 5 was my shit, but I was still at that time a really salty person. I was that person that sent a lot of hate mail. I admit it. I was a freaking sore loser, a sore winner. I just hated losing, dude. And I had to change that about me. I saw people in the community who were just cool as a cucumber, like Pasadena, like Lockdown, like VDO. I give them shout outs all the time because dude, I strive to be like that because it's damn, man, how do these guys have ice veins like that to just be I took an L, whatever, move on,
Well, I mean, VDO's team it's kind of like a safe avenue for him to just say, well, shit, man, try to pick some low tier and do that to me then.
Yeah, bring on that bitch bot. With my little crumble tits.
Big Peter. And,
Big Peter. That's the shield.
Yeah, that's the shield. Rogue Rollins and Ken Ambrose.
I'll snatch that bitch by a weave.
Fucking love that guy.
I love
Shit.
video. Amazing.
Fire it up.
Hey, man, I still hate losing, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I still hate losing.
I agree.
I'm
And I'm the same way.
a guy that likes to, hone my craft, and
Mm-hmm.
it sucks when your technique and your methods aren't working.
Yeah.
So I could, especially when we talked about online constantly and the differences between the PS3 port and the Xbox port compared to DC, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you see stuff that works on PSN, for instance, that's not supposed to work, it's like, God damn, dude, you should have been dead.
Yeah.
You should have been dead. So I can definitely empathize with your, the saltiness because you're losing online.
But yeah, but going back to the, why I disappeared was just because I just felt like DR and Marvel 2 was giving me too much stress and not having a good time really with it. Being seen in a bad light too, I wanted to change, and I was just let me just take a step back. Let me focus on my music and dance stuff. And, that took a great turn. Fortunately, I was able to be successful in that. And
not to mention the breakdancing, right? And
Yeah.
the pop locking.
yeah, the pop locking, hip hop, dude, bebop,
Dude, you guys will plug all of Thrillah's links to everything. This guy is a man of multiple talents, as you guys will see.
Right.
jack of most trades.
Jack, yeah, definitely. No doubt about it.
Yeah, and coming back into the scene, after I got done with dance and stuff like that, I injured myself, like my shoulders clicking a lot, my wrists popping. I would get my pinky locked up, like, random times, just from playing a lot of games and then also dancing. And it just wasn't healthy for me anymore. So I took a break from dancing and focused on music. And then I came back every now and then. You would see me pop back into like the Marvel scene. And it wasn't until like the very almost end of Super Arcade where I finally started wanting to participate again. I think that was like 2014 before it closed down. And I participated in a Ranbat one time, and I remember one of the last times I was there, I teamed up in a 2v2 with me and Pasadena versus who was it? Not Gustavo. It was Andy Doom and Pretty Boy. His name's not Oscar. One of the other AA guys, who was
Pretty Boy,
Random Rudy.
Dude, that guy's, first of all, that guy is far from pretty, okay? And I don't just mean his looks. I'm talking about his MSP also, all right?
Yeah, and it was a great moment, too, during that time, because, like, as I was coming back, I was like, I was on about my shit. And this is, like, during the time where, like, Andy Doom's talking hella shit about me. He's like, man, I'll beat Thrillah, easily. Like, let's money match, bitch. And this was, like, the first time I was like, you know what? I will money match you. And it will be for a good amount. I think $300 at the time was a decent amount. And I went there and I 10-7 him, I think. And he said some shit in Vietnamese to like Tree Fitty. And I was like, yeah, no, man, fuck yeah. And it was good times, man.
Classic, dude. So what made you want to come back then?
What made me want to come back was just seeing, like, I missed that competitive feeling because I didn't, quitting dance, I wasn't competitive anymore. And, like, I just wanted to be competitive and get good at Marvel, like, finally figure it out. Because it didn't really click, like, as you said. You saw my team go from, like, I don't know. Right. And then next thing you know, it's like, holy shit. Like, it's actually, like, leveled up. Yeah, leveled up and doing damage to folks.
Can I give you a quick observation?
Yeah.
So, back in 16? Ray got married.
Yeah.
And you were the MC. You were the MC DJ
yep.
for his wedding. And I remember seeing you. I hadn't seen you in a long ass time. Mm-hmm. And I think I told Ray this. I said, dude, it looks like you weren't in there completely. Like something's missing. Like there was a spark that was just not there. And then you popped back into the Marvel 2 scene.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what was missing, dude. That competitive feel.
Yeah.
That you hadn't experienced for a while.
It was because, like, I was DJ. Like, when I DJ for my friends, like, I only do it for friends and family. And even then, I'm like, kind of like, I don't know, because DJing is stressful, especially for weddings. Like, you need to be the guy that doesn't mess up the sound, that provides the energy and the vibes. And if you can't do that, and they're like looking at you, everybody's looking at you. Like, if the song messes up or if there's like a curse word, there's just so many things involved with DJing.
Like, what do you mean? You can't have curse words?
I mean, at weddings, some folks don't want it, and this was my first time too, back in 2016. Shout out to my boy Ray Spartan, man.
That was your first one?
Oh, no, it wasn't, but
okay.
it was the first time I DJ'd a country wedding. I was like, hey man, you gotta help me with this playlist, dog. I don't listen to country like that. He's like, hey, you bump some Florida Georgia Line, you're all good, buddy.
God, of course, dude. Ray is all about that country music,
yeah,
boy.
Baby. Hey y'all. Hey, crispy. So fucking
great
creamy,
body.
baby. Oh yeah.
Dude. So I was up in San Jose at the time, NorCal, and so all I had was online. I remember playing against you on PSN, and I could tell that you were getting better. Like around that time, you were leveling up. You had better hit confirms. You had more infinite setups. I knew that something was happening. Like the wheels were turning, and
they were.
Yeah, and something. I guess you get to a point where things just start clicking.
Yeah,
and it happens like that for everybody. Did you have any rivals at the time? Any people online that you just, man, like I need to, like this guy has my number. I need to beat him. Any highlights from that era?
Yeah, man. During the online era, don't want to bring up his name or anything like that, but there were a couple of online folks. Dude, David Lee at the time had my number because I was just barely trying to figure things out. But as I was getting games on him, and he would be like, asshole, like, just, I can't believe you hit me with that stuff, you know. Ironic, one of those guys. He had a great kind of like just up back, you know, team. And like I needed to figure this out, how to beat it, you know, like we used to run like money, like, you know, $25 money matches online.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
Yeah, he has it up on his YouTube. I mean, me and the guy, you know, we had a falling out because, you know, I sent a lot of hate mail to him, and, you know, he thinks I'm a scumbag. I don't care, you know, but yeah, he was one of the guys that was like always online and giving me great matches. Roundhouse and I used to run it a lot, you know. Lockdown and I used to run it a lot. Pasadena and I ran it a lot. Who else? There's freaking old man Rick Payton, freaking Free Business.
Blackheart and Sanson.
Yeah, Blackheart Sanson is a bitch,
dude. Especially with your team, that is a tough matchup.
It's very tough. And
it's annoying, bro.
One of the other people, like, shout outs to the PSN goons that, you know, always kept good competition. Yourself, Ken, and this guy, what is it, Kinetic Burst or Kinetic Chaos at the time? What was your name?
Kinetic.
That's what it was.
Yeah. And Asmode too, man. Asmode, he's a great player. He's just a wild card, dude. I love Asmode. So shout out to Asmode, aka Improvise 6.
Yeah, and Asmode he's hot and cold. Like some days he's really on it, and other days it's like, what happened to you, man?
I just find that he's like always labbing, always trying to find new things. Like, I feel like he's one of those type of players that, like, you know, he's not really trying to be competitive.
Yeah,
he's just like, I want to see how much I can annoy you.
Yeah. That shit is annoying, dude.
It is.
So when you got back online, you're getting your sets in with these high caliber players.
Yeah.
When did you decide to test yourself again in person? Whether it was a tournament, whether it was a gathering.
Okay.
What happened?
So, you know, coming off of online and still playing online, you know, it was, I think, like, so the first time I tried it was at Super Arcade. I went into that Rambat, lost. I've beat the first match, but I lost to Arcade Shock Non. I guess they're like the brother of Arcade Shock or something.
Wow.
He played Team Scrub. It was, I think, 2-2, and I was, at the time, I was playing on stick. So, you know, for people that don't know, I'm exclusively a pad player now, just because due to, you know, hand injuries, shoulder injuries. But back then I used to like play on stick a lot, and I had my own stick, but it was Bluetooth, right? And it just wasn't good. So actually the person that lent me their stick was none other than Roundhouse. Shout outs to Roundhouse for lending me his stick at the time to play in that tournament. And I lost, and you know, I was just not doing good in tournaments. I wasn't actually good in tournaments at all. Like, cause there's so many variables like that I have to remember about the matchup. Like who has like a 1-frame jab and stuff like that. And so I would lose to people. So I tried it again at Evo. And I beat the first person again, but lost the next. So it's just like, damn, man, I really need to figure this shit out, because like I have the setups. I just need to either have a set game plan that like a one size fits all, you know, and that's what I was working towards.
Mapping everything.
Yeah.
So when did you decide to become a pad player then?
So
if you were still on stick.
So that it was because like I wasn't getting consistent like fly combos and stuff on stick.
Interesting.
Because like, you know, I had at the time I was using I think it was like an optical Sanwa.
My God.
Yeah. And mixed with hap buttons, you know, like and I was just like, this shit does not feel right. And then so it would be when I would play online is when I play on pad at home, you know, because like I didn't have to like lug this shit around. And also I didn't annoy my wife with the loud freaking clacking at freaking 1 o'clock in the morning.
Those late night sessions.
And so like I would be like, you know, playing on pad. I mean, not pad, but on stick at night. It'd be like, you know, just if you hear that. And it's just like my wife, you know, who I was dating at the time, she would fucking get so mad. She's like, do you know what freaking time it is? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. You can't tell me that you guys haven't had this experience.
That's the crack sessions, baby.
Yeah, and I shit you not, I was like, you know what? I gotta go quieter, and I tried to play quiet, and it never
can't,
worked.
bro.
So it slowly drifted into me picking up a pad and just tapping the.
Yep. And at that time, we didn't have the Sanwa silent buttons yet.
Yeah, dude.
So it was
Your
literally.
your wife's yelling at you. Meanwhile, David Lee's on the headset like, yo, he's still there? No.
안돼 싫어. Yeah, 시발. No, dude. And yeah, that's what led me to playing to pad mostly. And I was always used to playing pad because, on DC, I didn't have a stick on DC.
Yeah.
And when I practiced at my cousin's Carrie's house, like I said, I played on DC pad, and that's how I practice. And I was so used to that. And, actually pad was a benefit to me because like the throw of the analog stick, and I don't play on the D-pad. I don't play on the directional. I play on the analog stick, and the buttons. They're short, like active, sequence, or confirmations, and so it was better for me because I didn't have to do so much movement, and it helped me with recovering.
Fantastic, dude.
Yeah, just like how I feel like you translated from MOS to going to the H-Tech, because it's it's smaller form, light. It does what it needs to do, and you don't have to move so much.
Right, and plus, I've never been the one to hit the buttons heavily.
Yeah, you're just like
It's
I've
very,
noticed
it's
that.
very keyboard.
I still get mad at how like your muscles are so relaxed. I still can't relax my muscles.
Honestly, I think the way Ken plays is like so much better for longevity.
Yeah,
You see a lot of the a lot of the pro players and a lot of the veterans in the scene complaining about carpal tunnel or just
dude.
their wrists hurting or their hands are hurting now because we're getting older.
Yeah, dude.
But the way the way Ken plays like a fucking piano.
Yeah, I try my best.
And that's good because again, for longevity wise, you're gonna be coming out on top of that as well.
Couple things to touch up on. So you started playing, just to confirm, you started playing with the Dreamcast?
Yeah, Dreamcast
Pad?
and PlayStation Pad. Yeah.
Oh, the PlayStation Pad for PS3?
Yeah.
Okay. Technology, we've talked about this on prior episodes. It's the technology that's available to us today is nothing like it was back in 2016, 2017. It's crazy how it hasn't even been 10 years, and it's already like night and day.
Dude,
Right.
MC Cthulhu was the thing that I was using, but I had the PS3 version that allowed for Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And even then, I wasn't as techie as I am now, like knowing the actual like frame data, the input delay, and all that stuff, researching these things so that way I can play competitively. Because I would lose playing on that stick that I built, and it'd be like, how come I losing at the start? You know? And it'd be like, oh, it's because this board is freaking, 11 milliseconds.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy how you can't have like a all-in-one universal stick. I mean, I guess you could, right, with the Universal Fight Board.
Yeah.
But back then, you got like a Street Fighter 4 SE versus a Mad Catz TE.
That's right.
It's almost like night and day.
Yeah.
If you didn't know what was actually in that stick.
Right.
So like you said, you're losing matches, whether it's in tournament or money match, and you're like, God damn it, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm playing underwater.
Exactly.
Almost.
Yep.
So you guys do your research. Make sure that you guys know what's in your stick, know what parts are available and where to get them. Okay, you can ask around. What are the best sites to visit right now?
I mean,
Arcade Shock?
Arcade Shock, Paradise Arcades, eBay is a good one too, because if you want to pick up like American style, buttons and whatnot. But then there's specific like traditional, like original IL buttons because if you pick up the ones from like, I think it's Arcade Shock, the hat buttons have like a sharper edge versus like the old school IL buttons had actually a rounded edge, and they're actually much shorter in height. So make sure you look out for that and get the long stem. Short stems, I believe, offer a longer actuation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you're okay with it, we're gonna plug all of the ways to contact you as far as Twitch and all that. If you guys have any questions, guys, Thrillah is a master of his craft. He's definitely very knowledgeable when it comes to this stuff. Shoot him a DM.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd be happy to give you guys his input on what boards are best for whatever system you're on and all that.
Yeah.
Like I have 4 different sticks, like one for each system, just because I don't want to deal with.
Yeah, traveling, picking it around.
Yeah, and of course the H-Tech, dude. It's so easy for me, dude. Fits in the backpack.
Oh yeah.
Fits in my pocket. Oh yeah.
Love that thing, bro.
Yeah.
The Green Goblin.
All right, man. Let's fast forward.
Yeah.
So you have your pad set up. It's set up to your liking. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened to trigger your power up from becoming a PSN lobby rat to, hey man, this guy is a fucking problem. Like you did something or something happened to trigger that transformation. What happened?
It was just pretty much, figuring out that with Iron Man and War Machine and Cable, like there was a time on PSN where I was like labbing this an instant like infinite setup if you're crouching, and it's literally like so fast that if you don't block it right, you're gonna be in the infinite at the beginning of the game. Other than just a switch glitch, launch high kick, right, trying to beat somebody out. This one, if you're crouching, if you don't block it right, it's pretty much an instant overhead with the short and high punch down into Cable. And if you call out your assist too, your assist will just get eaten up by the scimitar, and both your characters might actually end up in the infinite. Once I learned that, and actually, so I learned that and I practiced that like heavily. There was another setup where like it was spotty every now and then, which was the air combo into War Machine, socking him down into War Machine. That would fall through maybe like, it was like at the time in 2015-16 was like maybe 60-40%, right, ratio. But then there was a point where I was like, what if I modify this combo, to bring them a little bit lower so I can get at least a 95%, confirm ratio. And that's when it clicked where like, wow, if I don't miss this, they're effed. And then I practice other guard breaks, for the corner and more grab setups. So just to like be in that situation and of thinking about those variables, like, I'm low on time. I need to kill these guys fast. Is this person that I'm playing smart enough to read this mix-up?
That's awesome, dude. That right there is I believe that's the golden brick road right there.
Yeah.
Is if you're able to tailor your approach to your opponent's habits, that's when you know that you've hit that next level.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I remember when I got back into PSN and we did like a couple first attempts, dude, I would lose the opener to Thrillah like almost every single time with Magneto. I'm like, dude, and he had already gotten to the point where he was fast enough to react on the hit confirmation to put me into the infinite. So I'm like, what the hell, dude? Like, what? I'm losing the opener, and it would lead into almost a 300% death every single time.
Losing to a rug.
Yeah, losing to a rug.
No, man, and it's just one of those things that I was like, damn, this is actually working, and I wanted to bring it out, and during that time, people were noticing it too. Like people from East Coast, like, oh, he's just he's an online goon. He's probably not good in tournament and all these things. So I was like, I really wanted to test myself. So like that's when I went back to like Super Arcade, and started trying to practice these things and put it to the test. And it was working because I was playing Mike Khaos at the time, and I won every single set. And Mike Khaos is really good. And but back in the days, he would whoop my ass, But now like we met again at the last day at Super Arcade, and like I was just beating him, and he's like, damn, you're really doing this stuff? Like, I can't believe I'm getting hit by this shit, stuff like that. And that's everybody's same reaction. I can't believe I'm getting hit by this shit. And just like you said, once you learn your opponent's choreography and their habits, you can totally tailor, if you're running a set, to your liking, because now you're making them question, is this guy going to go low? Is he going to go high? Because if you have those two variables at the opening, it's just a 50-50 game at that point.
Yeah, you're flipping a coin now.
And the way that it's detrimental to your opponent is because they're used to moving a certain way, and you're forcing them to switch up their movement.
Yeah.
So now the muscle memory has been thrown upside down, and you're doing things that your body, your hand movement is not used to doing automatically, almost like Ultra Instinct, right? You're used to just moving a certain way and flowing.
Yeah.
And now your opponent is, hey, dude, your movement now, it's causing me to land my hits.
Yeah.
So now you got to switch it up, not me.
Exactly.
My game plan is working the way that it's supposed to.
And here, another thing before we move on that helped me a lot was like coming from dance, coming from DJing, like getting over the fear of performing, gave me the confidence to play. And one thing in dance, like hip hop battle, like, you don't fear anyone. You go in and you're gonna like, you know, when you battle somebody, you're like, I'm about to, you know, fuck your shit up, dude. I'm about to like put it out there and make you recognize like my skills. And so when I would play people, I would go in with that mentality of like, you're just another regular Joe, dude. Like, I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna dash in and be in your face, and I'm gonna wait for that mistake. And if you do something wrong, I'm going to totally capitalize on it. And so as you've seen with my gameplay, I'm not scared of like doing the Tom and Jerry cat and mouse chasing. I'm just going to keep chasing you until I get you into that position of vulnerability. And if you mess up, you know, I'm going to mix you up or do something to confirm into an infinite and bring you to death and make you watch the Iron Man movie 1, 2, and 3.
I fucking hate that movie, dude. I've seen it one too many times, let me tell you.
Yeah, man.
So now that you've tested yourself in not just online but in person, right? You're taking names. You're like, okay, Thrillah has finally arrived, right? We want to fast forward to your trip to the East Coast. Test your might.
Oh, we're talking about this, huh?
Oh, yes, we are, dude. We have to talk about it. Okay.
You knew this had to come up.
After Combo Breaker, when I steamrolled over all of them,
amazing.
Right? It was always like it was me and Duck, and then there was everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
That was the perception that everybody had. It was Duck and I at the very top, and then everybody else, East Coast included. Like Sanford was yesterday's news.
Yeah.
Yipes wasn't playing. And then the rest of the East Coast guys were just kind of there. Like G-Con was still a threat. Chris Matrix was just kind of stagnant.
Wigfall.
Josh was playing terrible. Josh 360 was playing terrible.
Yeah.
You went out there for Test Your Might, which was the equivalent to, I guess, bots or something like that. Well, what made you want to travel out there?
So what made me want to travel out there? So shout outs to Fuji, and I didn't divulge the name that sponsored me to take that trip, which was CYF. Shout outs to George. Shout outs to Kuya George. That sponsored my trip to go to New York. And Fuji, you know, like putting it up like, hey, do you want to come out here and, you know, test your might? I was like, yeah, I don't mind. I think I'm at a good position. But before I even made that decision too, though, was like, leading up to that was like, you know, I was watching, and you guys saw it too. Yipes and Sanford would play with everybody during that time, like for that year, and was like, Yipes and Sanford looks like they still got it. They still are taking names, beating G-Con, beating Wigfall, beating Josh, beating Chris, like nothing, you know? I'm like, damn, these guys are really top notch.
Can I let me interject on that. I feel as though it looks that way because they've been playing these guys for years.
Right.
It's like watching footage of me versus Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ray will get his wins, right? But I will beat Ray more convincingly. So looking at it from that lens, I'm the one that looks godlike, right?
Right.
But then Ray can go on and demolish somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Like another top caliber player.
Yeah.
And I feel like it looks that way because they know how these guys move.
Yeah.
Yipes knows Jason's movement.
Yeah.
Chris Matrix, whatever. Plug in any East Coast player. They know their tendencies and their habits.
Yeah.
The real test is when you're put up against somebody that you've
never played,
never faced before.
Exactly.
And that's a perfect segue going into what we're going to talk about is your trip out there.
Yeah.
So what was going through your head?
Honestly, dude, it was the right before, or, you know, literally right before the height of COVID. And I was like, holy shit, I'm going to be flying out here in the snow, you know, not knowing what kind of clothes I need to bring. I just brought a thick jacket, and dude, I was in my hotel, like by myself, just training. And then, you know, Josh Wigfall, shout out to Josh, was like, yo, come through to the spot, you know. And I took an Uber there, and I was like thinking, like, wait, should I have done this?
Spot? What spot?
His house.
Oh, okay.
For like kind of like the gauntlet. So I sat down with an East Coast gauntlet. Desmond was there, Sanford was there, Josh, Chris. I think that was it. But yeah, I was like, oh, should I have done this? Because like I don't know if I want to, you know, expose my,
right,
you know, my gameplay to
give
these
them
guys.
experience, with that.
Give them a head start. So that's why when you see me, I still have the footage. I downloaded it for my own keepsake to review the matches. But yeah, I was like, I'm gonna just play Combo Fiend and see how I do. And I was doing pretty well.
Magneto, Iron Man, Sentinel.
Yeah.
Drones?
Drones, yeah.
Okay.
I never play Rocket Punch.
Okay.
But yeah, I was like, I don't know. I'm just gonna play, this team. But then Sanford, when I played him, he was like, man, play your real shit. And Josh was like, yeah, man, play your shit. And like, I was like, nah, man. I was like, just wait until Sunday. You'll get a taste of it Sunday. And I was like, and
come get a taste.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it was a first to 10, and Sanford ended up taking the game because of the fact that, like, I was playing, I'm a plan B right now. I was playing Combo
What was the
Fiend.
score?
10-7, I think.
Okay.
But then I got him in the
That's
the
still
run
really
back.
good, though.
Yeah, I was beat, and I got him in the first to 5 run back, and
Nice.
And yeah, it was a great experience. Like, I wasn't trying to divulge too much tech because I had a lot, for them. But yeah, I was playing Wigfall, I was playing Chris. My brothers out there, they showed me a great time. It was fun, yeah, that was just my thought. It was just like, damn, I'm by myself. I have to represent the West. And then there was like, side talk of people like, man, they might collude against you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, that's a lot of noise that I don't even need to hear right now.
Collude how?
Like during the tournament, right? Like, they might make, let's say, like Josh Wigfall win, on purpose, like they would make like
So
like
the matchup
Yipes.
is
Yeah.
worse for you?
Yeah. So it's like, he can get to 10 and I get to 10, and then, you have to split the money or something like that.
Yeah, I see.
And then I was just like, man, I don't need to hear that right now. What I want is good gameplay. I felt like I was Jin going to, 37 or US, to like test my might and play with these great players, because I've never really played with them before. All I've heard were stories. This is my first chance at like, just playing and just being me, without any of the noise. But it was cool to see because, like, everybody's, was supporting me, and I could see the comments during the stream, because, like, we would play just like this, but then there was a big screen with, like, the chat and everything, and it was just like, oh, damn, people really like what I'm doing. And
What was so fast forward to tournament day, what was the end result?
end result was me being, it should have been 10-0. So I had to play. So the tournament was, you have to beat Yipes and Sanford in a first to 5, and whoever gets the best score wins the tournament. And so the first match was me and Sanford, and you guys know the score. It was 5-0.
Jesus.
And got a salty embrace. Because like the only reason why I even popped off was because he was like saying in the chat before that, the night before, he was like, Thrillah, all right, kind of just like, not really giving me my flowers, but giving me my flowers, kind of like,
Yeah.
like a backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
Right.
And so yeah, I it was 5-0, then it was me versus Yipes. But leading up to that, me and Yipes were just like, he recognized, the skill. He's like, hey, I see you. And I was like, yeah, I know you see me. I said, but before the match, I was like, I'm gonna fuck your shit up, like when you run into me, when we're gonna play. And so I don't know if that contributed to anything, that like how he was playing that day, but yeah, it should have been 5-0 because of one of my supers. They bounce out. That's one of the stupid mechanics of War Machine and Iron Man. Sometimes they bounce out, and that was unfortunate. And I really wanted MSP because he picked reverse row.
Oh yeah, he wasn't gonna pick MSP on you, bro.
Yeah, because even if I even told Fuji and everybody in the East Coast, like, if he picked MSP, he would have got his shit fucked up. Regardless how fast he was, I was ready for it. And I still believe during that time, if he had picked MSP, he wouldn't have gotten the wins.
God, I love to hear it.
Something about 2019, dude, where we were just at our strongest forms, our strongest performances that year.
Yeah, we were building up to it.
Yeah.
Like, we were just like figuring this shit out. Like you said, like you can see something happening, and I felt like Test Your Might was one of those times where it's just like, okay, this is what it is. This is the Thrillah's team. This is what it is.
This is the pecking order.
Yeah.
And that, dude, you going out there flipped everything upside down, because I'm sure that there was a lot of salt flowing after that weekend, and these guys were probably like waiting for a crack at you again. At least I would hope so, right? From a competitive standpoint, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Walk us through the concept of the fifth element.
So you know, due to the fact of me winning Test Your Might with Iron Man, you know, and not playing one of the 4 gods, it put into conversation again, is Iron Man better than Cable? And we got in a not podcast, but a little stream chat with myself, Josh 360, and World Machu. Shout outs to my boys, my Iron Brothers, my Iron Gods, my Mount Rushmore of Iron Men. We all agreed, you know, that Iron Man is a threat and he is better than Cable, just due to the fact of the one-touch kill. And we know that we can talk Theory Fighter, you know, 3v3 or 1v1. This is a team-based game. But at most times, sometimes Cable is just out there by his lonesome, you know? Iron Man's going to fuck him up. He's going to either mix him up, dash over him, get an overhead, or trip you, get an OTG, something that leads to, like, infinite death, you know? And that led to it being, you know, he is considered the 5th god, the 5th element, just because of how dangerous he has become.
That's right.
And we've proven that. I've proven that, you know? This is the first time Iron Man has ever won an actual tournament, you know, and it's being recognized now. Like,
I agree completely. And I feel like that falls solely on your shoulders of having Iron Man on point and winning a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody can take away from that. You could blame it on gimmicks or
Yeah.
being unfamiliar with the matchup, but that's nobody's fault other than, I mean, your opponents, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all there is to say on that.
That's right.
Nobody can erase that. That's how you cemented yourself as a high caliber player.
Mm-hmm.
After that, okay, then we move on to 2020. COVID hits,
Mm-hmm.
and it's time to do what everybody else did,
Yeah.
and that's figure out a way to expand your portfolio. And you did that by becoming a content creator.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have, you know, like I said, I get inspired by people who are very caring and giving that don't take credit for shit. And one of those people were Mike Watson, who was running Super Arcade. I mean, like him or hate him, whatever you guys have, that's your own beef. But Mike has always shown me a home to go to when playing Marvel, you know, and providing the hype. And when I heard that his, you know, arcade was closing down, I was like, damn, guys, what are we going to do after this? Like, where are we all going to play? COVID hit. And I was like, shit, there's online. And so I took it upon myself. I mean, even after that, like when it closed down, I hosted the first All Thrills session at my house, not my house, my apartment at the time. And, oh man, we could get to a lot of things about this, but yeah, I invited a bunch of folks. We had a lot of great fight cards. Great matches. We had Neo versus Roundhouse, World versus Wes.
Yeah, amazing.
That was a great set, man.
You versus everybody, you know.
Actually, I didn't really play anybody.
You
I
versus
just played.
Lockdown.
I just played Lock like in a quick first to 3. I think.
Yeah,
First to 3. Yeah.
but I felt like that was like the spark of like a community of like high level play, you know. But then it all dwindled apart just because of like you try to keep and keep this together and try to keep running it. But the second one, obviously COVID hit and we couldn't run the second or third one because people were scared of COVID, and very understandable, you know, and so we had to take it online.
Right.
And so I helped a lot of folks get a PS3 with the Marvel on it, you know, for educational purposes only. You know, we provided them with a hen PS3, which provided MVC2. The crack.
It's beautiful.
And we hosted tournaments. We hosted online tournaments. And, you know, we started streaming on, well, you know, it used to be on Facebook Live a lot. But then I transferred to Twitch because, you know, I was like, I should jump on this Twitch thing. Who do you call it? Go for Broke was like already on. And he was like, yeah, you guys should go to Twitch. It's much more user friendly. I was like, hey, all right, cool. What do I need? You know, what do I need? And me coming from a production background, my dad was, you know, an audiovisual, you know, engineer / like actor / singer and all that stuff. I already knew about all these things, like how to hook things up. I just needed to know how to capture it. What is the device I need to capture these moments, you know? And so, we got into streaming on Twitch, and then that's when things just started building, you know, giving people hype money matches and tournaments and stuff like that. And Yeah.
Not only that, but one of the more notable aspects of it was your production value.
Oh, yeah.
You put a lot of effort into transitions and overlays and a lot of things that I feel are taken for granted.
Yes.
Just because it looks nice doesn't mean that it was easy to put together.
That's right.
So it's almost like, we spend no expense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thrillah always had a really clean setup, and you could just see, again, what Ken said is his production value was just top notch, man. Like, you could just see when he was putting on stream, I was like, wow, he put in a lot of forethought into making this.
I mean, that's
run
just
very smooth.
That just goes with my perfectionist attitude / like just
Gotta
when you
love
do something, do it good. Like, am I gonna do something and be shitty at it for what? Why waste my time with that? And a lot of people take it the wrong way too sometimes, where I'm just like, I'm just trying to provide help. Like I can, like I want it, like I was helping a lot of people with their streams, starting it up and offering my services, not as to like, hey, do it my way. It's just more like, hey, you got these tools, let me help you. Let me help you get started. Like you can do the scoreboard this way, because a lot of people would manually type it in, and that fucking sucks. But using a scoreboard app, I hooked a Roundhouse up with that. I think a Pasadena Spartan, like, I was just passing around. I wasn't trying to be like this guy who was like, hey, like I helped you, like try to give me the spotlight, like fuck that, dude. Like I was just more about, I'm really always, if somebody asks me for help, like generally I would always say yes if I can help them. I'm always gonna help, and that's what I've always been doing.
That's awesome, man.
You can see it from the very beginning, like some of your earlier videos of how everything kind of progressed, and you started getting better at at using the, not just Twitch in general with capturing the gameplay, but adding all of these, like the scoreboards. The if you look at all the overlays that you have now, not character, but player profiles, where they're from, what teams they use.
Right. Yeah. Playstyle, I believe.
Dude, it's amazing. It's amazing. And I think that it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
As time goes on. So that's definitely something that should be noticed. Like I said,
I appreciate it, man.
It could be taken for granted, just because it looks nice doesn't mean that it was easy to put together, as I said. So, dude, it's amazing.
Thank you.
Really
kicking ass.
I appreciate it.
With that, okay? And if I may be so bold. After you got into the content creator stuff, remember we're like in Marvel limbo, right?
Yeah, we are.
Because of COVID and all that. 2022 comes around, and it's time for Texas Showdown. All right, COVID has let up a little bit. Things are kind of starting to become a little bit normal again. What happened with Texas Showdown?
Oh man, Texas Showdown was just on a whim, really. But what inspired me to go really was just like hanging out with VDO and stuff, like my big bro. And I just wanted to travel. I had time to travel because actually, my work allows me to travel, and we have a business out there in Texas, in Austin. And I was doing double duties. I was like, yeah, I'm here for for work, and then on the weekend I could go play. And so I was there, and shout outs to my brother VDO, who allowed me to stay at his place. It was awesome. We had, great times, great eats, no Waterburger Gate stories.
My God.
Just overall, just connecting and vibing with each other on a one-to-one basis and getting to know each other better, because we know each other like in the Marvel community, right? Like we've known each other for years. Like everybody knows each other, right, like by name and face. Right. But do we know each other? No. You know what I mean? I don't think many of us have really collaborated or kind of like got together on a.
No, we haven't. No,
you
majority of the community is either just neutral, cordial.
Yeah, neutral. Yep, cordial.
Or they can't stand each other, and they just don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
It's happens very few and far between now for people to connect and. Like, hey, this guy's my brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. That's what I loved about it. It felt like real connection. Like, just being out there and hanging out with Buck and Tone and who is it? Freaking Turtle Power,
he's out there.
Yeah, Turtle Power's out
nice.
there. This guy RJ was out there, so shout outs to the Bay. He came out there. And we ran the tournament, and I ran into a lot of great foes. and opponents. One of my hardest ones that I knew I needed to beat was if I didn't, I would probably lose the tournament and not get further, which was Tone. He's the king of Texas. I mean, he was the best I feel like he's the best in Texas. I don't know any more like players that were as active as him and just killing it. So it came really close, and it was I think it's a 3 out of first to 3 at Texas Showdown, and it came down to the wire. It was like 2-2. I have 2 characters up, and he has 2 characters, and he had Storm Mag, and dude, it came down to time over, and I was like, freak yeah! I won the time over. I popped off a little bit, did a robot dance, and then shout out to Roundhouse at the time, gave me my flowers. He was like, hell yeah! And that's what put me in the top 8, and I was just like, oh shit, this is real. Like, granted that the player base, people may say like, oh, there wasn't a lot of great players at the time, but like, dude, shut up, man. Like, you didn't go. You could sit there and sit at the couch and talk some shit, whatever. But it's like, dude, go do something better with your time. Like, yeah, you can provide your opinion. That's whatever. That's free.
Agreed.
But like, yeah, man. Like, I still played the best players in Texas, and I won that match, and then I had to play my neighbor Roundhouse, and
That's right.
I beat him too. It was I think it was a 2-2 at the time, and I think I took the last game, and then it led me to fighting Surfbot in the finals the grand finals as well. The winners finals, I think it was 3-0, and then the grand finals was 3-1.
You were in the losers?
I was in the winners. I never lost.
Oh.
Yeah.
So then
He lost and came back.
okay. So
yeah.
did he reset the bracket?
No.
Oh.
No, I'm saying I won because he was in winners finals with me.
Oh,
and then I beat
I
him.
see.
He lost.
I see.
And he fought his way out of the losers to get back to grand finals. And so I beat him again.
Yeah.
And that's where that classic 3 meme came from.
3,
It's only 3, fool. Shout out to the boy Surbot,
dude.
man. I love you, bro.
Surbot's been pissing me off lately, dude. Just because, well, I mean, he finally won his tournament. He won the Xbox Live tournament with Brett. Shout outs to Brett for throwing that. But I told Surfbot, I'm like, dude, you need to win a tournament. Like, I'm not there. Pasadena's not there. Duck's not there. Like, you need to get one. So he didn't win Texas Showdown. He didn't win, what was it? Was it NEC?
I don't know.
What was the one that they had at the East Coast recently?
Crack Till Dawn.
No, that's Brett's stuff.
No,
Oh,
it's
Defend the North.
Defend the North,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, he's still got second place, which is still great in itself. But I'm like, dude, you need to finally win one, because I feel like that's the only thing that he's missing.
Right.
Nevertheless, though, you won Texas Showdown. There was a lot of great stuff that happened afterwards, like a lot of
Oh, yeah.
like Salty Sweet. Did you see any highlights? Did you participate in anything?
All I can remember was being really drunk.
man,
And making amends with Kodiak Phoenix, because me and him used to butt heads because his play style, and you know this, Daniel, that your play style can be very scummy and very cocky. And I used to take it to heart, be like, man, this guy, is he like trolling me and to be like super like a dick towards me or what? And I'd be like, and then I would teabag him a lot. So back in the online days. But anyways.
Fun fact,
Yeah,
let
go
me
ahead.
interject here. Kodiak was actually the first guy that eliminated me in my first tourney at Evo.
Oh.
And the way he played, I remember it. So I want that one back, Kodiak, so you know, bro.
Infinite
Yeah,
runbacks.
I can attest to that.
But yeah, no. But it just, there wasn't any real. I just remember sitting back at the Salty Suite that Tone and everybody were hosting at, and I was lit, and I was on the stream. I wasn't playing really any matches. There weren't any really real highlights. I think Roundhouse came for a little bit and played everybody, and he won. I think all of his money matches, but I wasn't paying attention. It was just more like I see him to the side, but I'm like lit. I'm like, oh man, this is awesome, everybody. Like,
Awesome, Goku.
Hey, Goku. But no, and that was Texas Showdown in a nutshell. I won, and actually, I didn't, when I won Test Your Might, I didn't feel like a champion at all, because when I came back home, we had the PSN Top 16 tournament invite, and I lost, the first one. And then what does East Coast do?
Oh, that's right.
They create a freaking a PowerShell PowerPoint slide.
It was an Excel spreadsheet
of a like a crypto, almost like stock. My stocks were dropping to zero. What they called me was like I'm a pump and dump, like a pump and dump stock. I was like, damn, dude, like. And they told me like, it's just all fun and games. Well, I'm like, damn, son. Like,
there's still a little bit of truth in there, dude.
Yeah.
That's just one of those things. Is when you start winning,
yeah.
the moment that you lose, it's
yeah. See,
flash in the. I knew it.
Yeah, I knew it. This guy.
You're trash.
Yeah.
I knew you were garbage.
Yeah. And that's what happened, and that's
Oh
what Texas Showdown. The person that made me actually realize that like I won something major was Turtle Power. He, after winning, I got off the stage. I called my wife, had some deviled eggs, but no, I called her. I said I won, but I still didn't feel like I won anything, until Turtle Power just came up to me. He was like, "Dude, why you look so fucking down, dude? You just won a major," and I was like, "Oh crap, yeah, I did," and I just sat with it, and I just, let's go out to drink, let's go celebrate,
Yeah,
and shout out to Turtle Power, man.
After Texas Showdown, like I said, this is only adding to your accolades. Like this is it. You've arrived.
Yeah.
As a real threat to everybody, and you're still creating content, right?
Yeah.
The streams are still happening.
Yeah,
And I remember the buzz he had when he won Texas Showdown. Like we're talking about content even on YouTube from other creators are saying like, oh, have you guys seen this new team or
Dude,
yeah.
It's ridiculous. So it's putting Iron Man on the map, War Machine on the map as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas some people thought we're kind of straying away from the whole gimmicks talk because this shit is working.
Mm-hmm.
It's working against Magneto. It's working against everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really say, oh, it's just gimmicks because the results are there
Yeah.
and they're consistent, and
Yeah.
that's what people want to see.
It's consistency. Yep.
Consistency. What we need to address now is stream culture,
Yeah.
because Roundhouse kind of kicked it off, right?
Yeah.
Lockdown was in there. You jumped on the scene.
Yeah.
What I did notice is you guys are kind of like competing for stream time
Mm-hmm.
without doing it directly. It's kind of like indirect.
Right.
Was there ever some kind of agreement like, hey man, I'm gonna, because the communication obviously was there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was there ever like, hey man, I'm gonna do Mondays, maybe you can do Tuesdays?
Yeah. I mean, I think there was a point where like we were all stepping on each other's foot, but not knowing that we're doing so. But then when we would, I think somebody would like pass off the raid, and it wasn't like anything, malice or anything like that. It was just more like, oh, he's streaming. All right, I'm gonna stream too, and the content is here if you want to see a money match. The content is here if you want to see high level play. The content is here if you want to see some really good trap team stuff. And it just more so what I've learned from hip hop dance and being a person who ran events and do a lot of events actually outside of gaming is that in the culture, and you have your brothers and sisters out there doing their own events as well, you would ask like, hey, are you doing anything this weekend? Are you running an event? I just want to make sure that I don't, do like a double event and people have to pick and choose, where to go. And so I've picked that up and brought that into the streaming culture where I would ask like, hey, are you doing anything this weekend, or when are you streaming? Because I don't want to stream when you're streaming. And I remember passing those those cordial or courtesy messages out before. But then it just came to a point where I was like, oh well, I'll just stream like on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's when you'll catch me. And it just kind of like fell in line. And Roundhouse always was just like, always had money matches lined up. So that's all I always give him props to that, because that dude just had it always lined up till this day. From that point on, it was like, dude, this guy's been playing Andy Doom for like 20 years now.
Andy Doom, John Ryder.
Yeah, Andy
coming
Doom,
right up.
Yeah, exactly. I used to be on that list too. Me and him would go back and forth, and yeah, it was good times back then.
Yeah. Well, communication is key.
Yeah,
like
totally.
The fact that you guys had that set in place, this is still kind of new. Like for us in general, like this, we don't know what happens.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, it's just.
That's right.
You don't think about it until it's time to look at your analytics for Twitch and for YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to hit your numbers too.
I mean, here's the thing. When I streamed, I still don't care. Like, I'm not like that on social media or like trying to build a follower. Like I need you to follow me, you know, like I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking for subscribers. I'm just looking to give you guys entertainment. You know, if it leads to somewhere great with more followers, sure, that's awesome. But I'm not looking for that at all. Like I'm just like, my sole purpose is just to have fun with you guys, you know, because our community is as small as it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? What, 20, 30 views and I'm competing with you? It's like, that doesn't like, I'm not going to argue with you and be like, hey man, why are you stealing my views? Like, dude, really? Like, I'm not a fucking like pop star that has 1 million like subscribers that are, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Dude, it's literally like, it's chump change and it's very small in like the aspect of like what we are involved with.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't care about that. Like, I didn't care like what they thought. Some people think like I do it for the fame. It's like, dude, you really don't know me at all. Like, I don't do shit for fame, dude.
That's right.
I do it for the love of the community. Because
Right. It's a passion.
Yeah, it's a passion. When you're passionate about something, you put your all into it. And so it may come off as like, oh, Thrillah puts so much time into his stream, his outlays and all these things. He just wants to be popular, you know. It's like, come on, man. Like, we're fucking grown adults, dude. Like, I just do this because I'm an artist myself. Like you said, you know me to be a man of many talents. I'm a jack of most trades. One of my traits is that I'm an artist. I'm gonna create because I'm a creator. And if you're gonna hate on that, sure, fine, but don't call me something that I'm not, you know.
Right.
So, and especially if you don't ever take the time to sit down and talk with me and know what I'm about. You know what I mean?
I feel like nobody really does that nowadays.
No.
It's
easy to pass judgment, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
It's easy.
Yeah, from a tactical perspective, like if Roundhouse was like during his money match with Jay Wong, I guess like I wouldn't want to go on stream during that time, you know, while I'm doing a set against Mr. Important Man, you know, because I know nobody's gonna be tuning into my stream, dude.
Yeah, no, I mean, still, like, I mean,
but it's I mean the community goal is to gain as much eyes on the product as possible, right?
As a whole.
Yeah,
like,
and when I say product, I mean the game.
Yeah.
So it would be cool if you guys had like a set, like you do Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? Roundhouse does Mondays and Wednesdays. I don't know.
No, he's his own guy. You can't hold him to a schedule.
Right.
He does what he does.
He doesn't have to.
He
doesn't
exactly.
have to. But
I do know what you mean. The communication is key, especially if we want to be a part of a growing community. What helps is that, like, hey, I'm going to be streaming this at this time. You know what I mean? But it doesn't have to be like that. You know, we can always stream at the same time, and I'm just going to be me. Because like lessons learned is just that, you know, you just do you, and if somebody has a problem, just speak up.
Communication is key, dude. I cannot stress that enough.
In all aspects.
As long as we can have a civil conversation that's factual, you know, you leave your emotions, you know, you keep your emotions in check.
I don't even get that most times, dude. Sometimes
oh,
it's just,
dude, I don't either, man. Trust me, bro.
I just have people coming up to me like, hey,
man. One of the things to add to Thrillah's contributions to the community is that he will host Marvel vs. Capcom 2 sessions, at least on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
Thrillah has put in a lot of time, a lot of money, you know, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
A lot of resources into his setup at his household. Dude, we're talking state-of-the-art streaming equipment. We're talking monitors. We still have a CRT in place. And all kinds of amenities. If you guys are looking to go, I mean, if you're in the area, if you want to have a good time, be a part of the stream, enjoy some great games with multiple setups. I mean, every time we have it, there's nobody really standing around unless they're socializing.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's a great, safe place to practice, play recreationally, and just socialize, dude. We're a fucking community at the end of the day.
Yeah.
One thing that I do ask, and because I know that Thrillah's too modest to ask, okay? If you guys attend, guys, please consider contributing to the place. Bring a 6-pack, bring a bottle, bring something, because at the end of the day, we're all kind of chipping in to have a good time.
And I fully welcome a lot of people, man, and I want it to grow. You know, for the higher level and for the newbies too. But you know, for the people that don't even know, that think like, you know, I'm doing this for the money. The stream money that I even get, which is not even that much, I put back into the amenities that Khaos is talking about. I literally even go above and beyond to put more on top of that so that everybody's fed. I don't even ask for money back either. You know, I just put, hey, if you want to donate, cool. You know, put it on the desk or something. You know, like I don't even I'm not looking for that. You know, I just want to provide you guys with a place to play. And if you want to contribute, that's awesome, you know, and it just makes things better too, because shout outs to 666 Chaos. When he first came, he brought like a bunch of sodas and chips, and that just lasted, you know, another month or two. And so I appreciate the people that have been always bringing like a bottle of something really nice to drink, you know, in terms of like alcoholic beverages. And if you don't want to partake in the alcoholic beverages and all that stuff, that's fine by us as well. We totally welcome you to just be you, and you don't have to do anything that we're doing. You know what I mean? Just be yourself and have fun.
It's a great thing to have, especially nowadays where we're still very divided as a community. Not a lot of people talk about it, but we're still kind of in that click era, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
So we're hoping that maybe, I mean, you don't have to, right? We don't have to fucking sit around and sing Kumbaya, right?
No.
But there are opportunities for us to be more united as a community.
Oh yeah, man.
And the work never stops. Even though it may not happen, it's still a possibility. Yeah. Good times, good vibes. That's all we're looking for as a community.
That's exactly what I wrote on my paper. Good times, good vibes.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get that tattooed on my chest. Dude, so what's next, man? Because you're more towards you still have your PSN streams running. Mm-hmm. We still have the sessions at the place. Dude, we're having a good time.
Yeah, we're having a great time.
We're kicking ass. We're taking names. Mm-hmm. That leads me to Fight Kingdom.
Ooh.
Let's talk about Fight Kingdom.
Emotional roller coaster. Fight Kingdom, man.
That happened this year, Washington. This is back in May.
Yeah. Shout out to Preppy, man.
Walk us through it, bro.
So, Fight Kingdom, one of those things where, like, I was at Texas Showdown, actually, 2023 this year. And after winning Texas Showdown again, I was just back at Video's house, and I was just on the futon that I was on, and I go, man, it would be so awesome if World Machu was here, or one of my other brothers, you know, that really kind of like that I have a good time with. And so I called him. I was like, hey man, you need to what if we planned a trip to go to Fight Kingdom? And he's like, yeah, I'm down. So I was like, look, I'll book your ticket right now if you got the time. He's like, yeah, do it. So I booked his ticket without a thought, because we wanted to go. And Video's like, yeah, let's go, you know. And then we were like, who else could we think about that can go? And none other than the Fight Kingdom champion, Mr. Khaos over here. And it was a great bonding experience, man. And so Khaos was totally trying to keep it secret. Who did you sign up as?
Creationscapes, like some dirtbag. Ironically, he's one of Preppy's good friends, like old school friends.
Oh, no way.
So when I showed up, Preppy looked at me like, what? Yeah. You're not Ron. But, dude, it was an incredible experience, man.
Yeah.
Dude, that was like basically the sleeper like tournament of the year, because people didn't expect it to be that good.
Oh, for
it was
sure.
amazing. I have to say it was one of the best tournaments. And just experience all around, just because of the fact that like we had everybody, even after the tournament, just hanging out downstairs of the hotel, and we would pop up a random, you know, setup and just start cracking out, and it'd be like 4 or 3 o'clock in the morning and just drinking and stuff like that.
Crack all night.
Yeah. Dude. But how I felt about going into this tournament, I wasn't looking to compete. I was just looking to have a good time with my brothers. I wasn't focused on winning or anything like that. Because I think I've said it in my own personal streams, where I'd be like, I'm not taking this one seriously, guys, because I'm already beat. I just came from Texas Showdown, and that was already a freaking like whirlwind of like competition brain drain, you know, because I had to fight, you know, Smooth Viper and Potter. That is very draining to fight two great Thrax players, and especially with Iron Man. Chasing that, like, I was super like, I don't want to do this again. You know
Dude,
I mean?
I'm getting a headache just thinking about it.
Yeah. Like, and so like I played, you know, you saw I was playing, it was It was everywhere, Ken. I don't know where you want to go with this.
I
one
remember,
because-
dude. I mean, all I can tell you is that I whooped some ass with Spider-Man. That's all I'll tell you.
and you can hear in the background, if you guys are watching those videos, if you're hearing people screaming like gorillas or like yelling out Parker, that was me and World Machu. All right, we're like, Parker, oh, he's dying.
That was funny, dude. Charlie Goblin sent me that one clip where I think one of you guys were yelling Parker.
Yeah.
And he sent it to me. He's like, hey, am I tripping out or is somebody saying Parker in the back?
I was like, you're fired.
Like, you're not wrong.
It's world, bro.
What a great tournament, dude. There's a lot of stuff that happened both inside and outside the tournament.
Oh boy.
Stuff that we can't talk about.
Oh,
we
man.
cannot.
We got into some squabbles, out there. But what we did take
emotional
away,
squabbles,
yeah, emotional and physical,
physical too.
yeah. But what we can take away from it was that Thrillah and World, all three of us, we got closer than we had ever been.
Yeah.
I consider these guys, my brothers, and I feel like it's never too late to kind of form a bond with somebody and just find common ground. And hey, you know what? We have more in common than we thought.
Yeah.
Outside of the game, so that was a great weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Left with the championship with my bros.
Yeah.
Ate
You
some
did
good
run.
food.
You did run a good set with G-Con.
Oh,
Totally
dude, that
forgot.
set was godlike.
Shout
bro.
out to Lazy Reaper for still,
Oh, yeah.
he
Providing all the
streamed-
content, yes.
Oh my god, and he was just pushing it out, dude. Like
He
just
was.
he was up all night just creating those freaking videos. Anyways, but yeah, I played
Catch
G-Con.
that one on YouTube, guys. G-Con versus
Yeah.
Thrillah.
Oh my god. So, okay, leading up to this, right? Just real quick was that, I didn't get to play G-Con as in a serious set. He counted the test your might casuals where I was playing Combo Fiend, where he'd be like, "Yeah, I still beat you though," and I'm like, "Dude, I played Combo Fiend in casuals. Come on,
Come on.
come on." And I was like, "Okay, you beat me then, but I beat you at Evo last time for like in the first to 5, So and then I was just like, man, I need to cross these, and I was on a hunt too. I wanted to beat people of high caliber, and I wanted to cross names off the list. Especially all in. I'm not a coast person because I never was a part of that culture back then because I came in late, but the whole like coast to coast rivalry, I wasn't a part of that. But when I was in East Coast, I felt people of the West Coast were just like, Thrillah, please, like you gotta win this, or I hope you win this, or something like that. But anyways, I beat everybody in a set, and the person that wasn't there was G-Con because he was sick at the time, I think. And I think me and him would just always be like, oh man, when we run a set, it'll be the last one, it'll be one and done. And so yeah, I ran it with him, very close set, 9-9, and the last game he drops it hard.
I know, man.
He thought I wouldn't contest him, and me being the scumbag Iron Man that I am, I did. Got him with a cross under, freaking mixed him up, and guard broke that bitch Storm so good. He got up and was salty as fuck.
Dude, I had a front row seat for that. And he got up and he said, "That shit is trash."
It was.
And Thrillah, you told him, "Yeah, it's trash, but I still beat you with it."
Yeah, I was like, hey, I may be
And-
trash, but I fucked you up.
Yeah, dude, that was high level gameplay.
He put me at my best right there. It was good.
That was an incredible set to watch. I think it's still up.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube under
yeah.
Lazy Reaper's channel. Shout outs to him for
Yeah.
holding it down for us at Fight Kingdom. Great set. And you know what the better thing about that was? After everything cooled down, dude, we all just grabbed some
the
drinks.
I was like, yeah, good games, man.
Yeah, good games. Chatted, chopped it up. And Jason, he's been kind of MIA since then.
Yeah.
And he told me, there was a conversation between him and I, and he said that the game has evolved more towards the West Coast style, which is relying on scramble to conversion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's completely contradictory to what the East Coast gameplay has been over the years.
Yes, and their methodologies.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he said, in order for me to catch up, I'd have to play like that, and I can't do that.
Yeah, he likes clean play.
Yeah. And then there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
There's nothing wrong with preferring, the
A certain style.
the
yeah.
choreography,
Yeah.
like I said.
Mhm.
I just never understood. I don't understand like why he would say something like that though. Well, because it's like
I mean, if you're used to playing a game like, let's say Street Fighter 4,
okay,
right? Street Fighter 4 is very turn-based.
okay,
especially when it comes to frame data. It's your turn, it's my turn. It's your turn, it's my turn.
Yeah.
And that's how.
That's how they.
If that carries over to Marvel too, it just doesn't work because
Yeah.
you can interrupt a lot of things by pressing a button at a certain time, like you said, like a falling jab into standing launcher, which I fucking hate with a passion.
Caught your ass a lot.
But I can see how it would dissuade somebody from, fuck, dude, I don't want to play this shit anymore.
Yeah.
It's too frustrating, and like, people say I'm rusty or whatever, or I need to get back into it, and they don't want to put in the work to get back up to
that caliber. Yeah.
I mean, that I understand. I just meant of the fact that, like, if, like how Jason said, if he wanted to eventually get better, he said he would have to transition over to the more to the West Coast style. But I'm like, if you're such a good player, like, is it really that bad? I mean, we've been playing this game for years, so how much different are we talking about?
I guess if let's say that Roundhouse's style became the most dominant style. If I had to transition to that in order to start getting wins, I don't think I'd be able to do it because I don't see myself playing that way. I think that kind of relates to what Jason was saying. Is he just it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. If I'm a Magneto player and now Cable is dominant, so I have to learn Cable. Like I can't do it. I can play Scrub Clops. I mean, I gave it a try, right, for a few months. It just doesn't feel right to me.
And I remember telling you, I said.
So I'd rather just concede, and just say, man, you can have it.
Yeah.
And then that was his. I hope he comes back, Jason.
Yeah,
if you're listening, I hope you come back, dude, because you have a godlike MSP.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. That was Fight Kingdom, though. There was a lot to take away from that tournament. I think that we all kind of were better people leaving that tournament.
Yeah.
Evo happened. We already talked about that. Let's talk about the Texas Showdown.
Oh boy.
This year's Texas Showdown.
Yeah, man. I wanted to come back and have a great time again. And dude, at this time, I didn't go with the backup of the people that supported me back then in 2022. And this year I felt alone. I'm in that same position where I was when I first started. I'm like, damn, people don't fucking like me or something, like I'm alone again. Like I don't feel like I have the brothers that I wanted to be like supporting me in this event, going to it.
When did that tournament happen?
Back in April.
Oh, this was before Fight Kingdom?
Yeah.
Oh,
Texas
shit.
Showdown is before Fight.
I thought this was after. Oh, okay.
No, it's okay.
Disregard.
No, it's okay. And like, yeah, I went there, and the only person that was really having my back, and it was awesome too because Rob Zilla just came out of nowhere, out of left field, and Rob Zilla was there and VDO. So I stayed with VDO again. Shout out to my bro VDO, and we all had a great time. Went to the Airbnb, had some good games, and yeah, I competed, and as you know the result, I won. But I had to fight tooth and nail, fighting OGs of the Marvel scene. I fought Combo Fiend.
Yeah.
It was 2-2, and I edged it out. And I was down 2 games. I had to fight back.
Oh, you had to win 3 in a row?
Yeah.
Damn.
And that was Combo Fiend. And the next I had to fight Smooth Viper for in top 8. And Smooth Viper, again, down 2-1. And I had to win 2 in a row to beat him. And I did. Caught him with a unsuspecting Repulsor Blast assist and beamed his ass. Shout out to Smooth Viper, man. We were supposed to get him out to not Texas, but 37 Reloaded for a money match with Roundhouse, but that didn't happen. But and then
I would love to see that.
Damn.
And then the finals, I played Potter twice, right. I think. No. Who did I play? I think it was I played Serve. No, wait. I forget who I played for winners finals, but I think I played Potter, and I played Potter again.
Yeah, it was Potter.
Yeah, and that, like I'm telling you, every one of them had that OG style patient sentinel, and I was getting my ass mauled, dude. And I was like, damn, I gotta change something, and I did, and I ended up, just like being more patient and waiting for them to get clipped by War Machine assists or convert from War Machine, and I did, and I won, and
that's what you like to see. The adjustments happen either mid-match or mid-tournament to turn it around.
Yeah. Right. I mean, there were people like, talking shit in the background too. I guess it was like some girl like that was just yelling because I guess she was like good friends with Potter and Combo Fiend. She's like Asian girl, I forget.
Who?
I don't know, but
Janix?
I don't know if Shayna. I don't forget. I don't know if it's her or not. But there was people screaming and talking crap like, "Oh yeah, like fuck his ass up" and all this stuff. And I was just like, man, whatever, dude. And so like that, I would just that during the grand finals. That's why I was air teabagging Potter, not because of like that I had anything against Potter or anything like that, but it was just for the people that were sitting back there talking all that shit. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna disgrace him right now because I'm up on this game, and then this is to foreshadow that I'm about to beat him the next round too.
Yeah.
And there's nothing against Potter at all. I love Potter. Me and him always play and say GGs. We have our little back and forth, but it's always we're always cordial with each other. We're cool peeps, but yeah, that was my mentality and attitude going into it during that grand finals, and I won again wearing my Kung Fu Matrix ski.
Oh, that's right.
What a great performance, dude. A lot of mental weight, going in there with a lot of emotional weight on your shoulders.
Yeah.
And still getting the W.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a second one.
Yeah, 2 times in a row. They want me to go back for a third one. I was like, dude, I don't want to try and do this again. Because I mean, I know we're running low on time, but I was taxed after Texas Showdown and then going to Fight Kingdom. I was emotionally taxed, physically taxed, and having to travel to the Philippines because I was.
Oh man, we didn't even get to talk about the Philippines,
that's
bro.
right.
I was just emotionally and physically taxed, and I was just like kind of like out the door at this point.
Yeah.
I played great, but I could have played better. Long story short, I took second place in the Philippines, and shout outs to all my Filipino brothers out there, and shout outs to Jappy for taking the W out there.
Oh, dude, we're gonna have to bring you back.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have to bring you back to talk about that because that's a whole story in itself,
yes,
dude.
It is.
We're gonna go ahead. Yeah, we're almost out of time, guys. Before we don't have any community questions this time, just because you were a mystery guest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure for the next episode we will. Okay, so
there's gonna be a lot of
stand by.
Stand by.
The segment that we always run on these episodes is called the Run Back. Is there any loss that you've taken over the years that was a long set? It could have been a money match, could have been both, that you feel has not been corrected and you still need to correct?
Well, I mean, there was only one, but it wasn't anything personal. Rest in peace, Blue Jay. We were playing at Evo. It was a heartbreaker for me because like this is a turning point for like where I found myself to be like, damn, dude, I need to make amends for the stuff I've done in the past, in terms of like trolling and shit like that. Right. And I was beating him like I think like 9-1, and somebody in the chat had like said something like, oh, this is a guy that is like sending all this hate mail and blah 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 blah, and it like fucked with my head. And he came back and won 10-9.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then me and him always been cool after that. We always talk shit, like, because I love talking shit with him. He's always great and fun, just like back and forth. But yeah, he beat me, and I have to hold that L forever. Unless, when I pass, I'm going to play him, up there.
I'm sure you guys are running back.
Yeah.
On DC,
that was really the only one. And then the one I'm looking forward to, if I ever get to play, is Sanford.
Yeah, I was gonna
because I lost that first to 10.
That would be an interesting set to see now.
Yeah.
A couple years have passed by.
Yeah, and he's gotten better apparently.
And, I mean, he keeps popping up in every chat and saying that he's leveled up and his Santhrax is the best it's ever been.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to see that. Where could we see it? I mean, unless you...
I was saying that I just jokingly said, oh, I'm flying up there now. Because like I'm bored, man. Like, now that I'm doing well in my career and, I have the funds to just like travel willy-nilly, like I just want to now like enjoy myself, finally do the things that I couldn't do when I was in college. And
absolutely.
I want to play with the people like the person I really want to play. I've been trying to set up. It was a first to 10 with Justin Wong. He's been on my list forever. And I've always tried to go to where he's at, like a Texas Showdown, but he always dropped out. But now he's going through health condition issues with his arms and hands, like where he can't perform like he used to. So I may not ever get to, play him. So
that's a shame, brother.
Yeah.
Got to get those games in while you still can.
Exactly, bro. Yeah. We're not here forever.
And I guess last thing, Thrillah, do you have any like special message for the East Coast people that still doubt you to this day and your team?
I mean, I think I've changed that, like that message, that rhetoric. They know what I'm about. They know my game plan. They know my gameplay. They know how effective my team can be. And their best person at the time, it being G-Con, he found out firsthand, like, damn, this is a tough team. And that was a great display of, like, Iron Man versus top tier. And if I do continue to practice, it'll probably still be the same thing, because my mental game is always effective, because I can read my opponent's energy, and when they're down and out, or if they're on it, you know what I mean? So
Right.
I don't have a message for them. I just want to say that I love them. I'm looking forward to more games. Hopefully they all come back at one point, because all of them kind of like really retired, So yeah.
Do you ever get that urge to troll again?
I do. I heavily always get the urge. It's coming back just quite a little bit now that I've been streaming a little bit more, but it's not to the point where I'm like, salty as I used to be and just sending out crazy hate mail.
Yeah, for me, it's like the freaking symbiote, dude, whispering in my ear.
It is.
Tell him to go.
Just eat her. Right now.
Tell him to go jump off a bridge.
No, I mean, I do troll every now and then, but it's all in good fun. And now that I'm a better person because of what I've learned in my past and the people that have inspired me to be better. Just, I'm not going to go that route anymore. I'm just more about like helping others and providing my talents where needed, to help others.
Absolutely, man. And nowadays we still have everybody kind of putting in their contributions for content.
Yeah.
I always say it, dude. We have plenty of people that are streaming. Brett from the East Coast, he's hosting his Crack Till Dawn sessions.
Yeah.
That's like another slice of the pie that you can use to indulge yourself with. Looking forward, I think the only thing that we have to look forward to for Marvel 2 events is NEC.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen in December, I believe.
Yeah.
So maybe we can make something happen. I'll post the link in the description, guys, in case you're in the area, if you want to sign up for Marvel 2. And then also, Thrillah, can you let our listeners know where to find all of your content?
I mean, you can find me on Twitch, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify for my music, twitch.tv/gthrilla, with an AH, not an ER. Same thing for my YouTube. My Spotify is just Tin Man. If it doesn't pop up, just search Tin Man LBC and you'll find it. And yeah.
Well, we'll post all the links in the description. That way they can find it. But guys, make sure that you like, follow, subscribe to all of his platforms. He's got a lot of great content, not just Marvel 2, but music, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And a lot of good stuff to look into. I definitely need to bring you back for episode 2, so we'll stand by for that one.
And if you guys have any questions or comments for the next session, which we have
Thrilla
back, yeah, absolutely.
Shoot them over.
Shoot them over. Yep.
Any shout-outs?
Dude, I have too many, but for once again, just congrats on this amazing podcast journey that you've been on. I'm so happy to see you taking another route other than just Marvel itself, but with this content creation. So shout outs to you specifically for that, because you're keeping the game alive in another form, shout outs to all the goons out there still playing and still streaming. So I cannot hate, Roundhouse is always consistently on. Madru, freaking Corrupt, freaking Turtle Power. Who else is streaming nowadays? Powwow, I miss Ruin. He doesn't stream as much anymore, but
oh man, powwow, dude, I totally forgot.
Dude, and shout outs to all the people that always supported me during like in-person tournaments. And one of those people are my big bros, Video. He was just like my coach through it all. And another major shout out to brother Duck Doe. He's always been a great guidance in my mental stability, just offering up great advice and all that stuff. And to my family that continue to support me and allow me to do this. My wife is very supportive of it now, and she's allowed us to gather in a place of Marvel crack and just continue it, without having to complain about anything. So yeah, big shout out to my wife. Yeah.
Thrillah, thank you so much for being on here, bro. Appreciate
a
it.
great
Love you,
time.
brother.
It was
Love you
awesome
guys.
having you here, Thrillah, man.
Hell yeah.
All right. And with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Once again, click on those links in the description to add Thrillah to your list because you're not going to want to miss out on his content. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Stay mashing.
We'll see you guys next time.